I think I told you it's really hard for me to
Huh?
like, there's so much going on. Focus. Be serious.
Maybe you have ADD.
Hey!
I think that I'm not a visual reader. I gotta have read graphic novels.
What do you mean you're not a visual reader?
I like to read words. I don't like pictures.
Dear me!
If that makes sense. Those are different mediums to me.
But the English manga has both words and pictures.
Yes, I'm saying sort of pictures of words, like comic books, graphic novels. I find that
It'll be fine.
Yeah.
it's busy. It's hard for me to focus because there's so much to see. I read Refantazio. That was inspiring for class in college. That's good background. On my own, I read this one called The Duty, but I would not say I've read that. I'm more so focused pages and like not the highlights. Like I can actually everything. And that's it. I don't like really glad that I try to, and then I get really I'll read one. That's the idea.
Listen.
Really?
You're just so handsome.
Fine by me.
Yeah. I'm sorry.
No.
But... So then...
She now a new.
It's a promise. Yeah.
Traditional chicken pita, crazy crunch wrap.
What do you want to know? Shite this as. I'm to shite this as.
What do you want to do?
More people missing. Now, where was I? Fascinating. Ah, how good of you to come. That is... Ah, how good of you to come. Oh, you'll come again, won't you? More people missing.
And now eating cheese crackers.
More people
Let me-
missing.
Crackers and cheese.
Good baby. I put the pistachio cream high up. So if I wanted to have to get that's cool. Maybe I would be like, do you think this cereal?
Oh, you.
How often does that happen?
Actually, see you.
My.
I actually put most of these things very high up so that every time I move it,
Really?
I have to like, it's work to get that. Like, ooh,
Ah,
Now what am I to do?
you know,
I believe you.
Take a look.
What?
Good hunting.
talk about some there.
Same. It's gonna be like, you had sex again? Yeah. Like, no. Why? They're gonna be like, she's gonna be asked, you guys have sex yet? Again?
Okay, she don't talk like that.
And then we're gonna be like, no.
Did you jump on that dick yet, girl? Cut it out.
She's gonna be like, why not?
We haven't tried. It's not like we tried and it didn't work. We haven't tried. We haven't actually spent that much time together since we last met.
Mhm.
Also, we should talk about that. We spent a lot of time at my place, and we don't have sex here. We've never even tried to have sex here.
Mhm.
We'll talk about why that is. Agreed?
Mhm.
This feels like cheating. It doesn't feel like what you're supposed to do. Okay, let's talk about this. Did we see her before or after Christmas?
I think after.
Yeah, you're right. We talked about how we supposed to be together.
Look at that.
Look. Hmm.
How did the baby born? How did that
It was alright.
Now what am
Ah.
I to do?
No.
An elder
Uh,
candidate?
That's just me being cheap.
How come you've never been to LA?
I don't even know nobody out there.
So you only been to San Francisco because Kojo lives out there?
Mhm.
What'll I do?
Oh yeah, my theater tickets round too.
welcome.
Okay. And I need a laptop there, but I'm not gonna buy that. I'm gonna wait till I'm somewhere to get it.
Want me to get one from Buy Nothing?
Anything will baby, but nothing to stress out about.
Hey, mister.
You could just tell me what you were. You have two.
I do. Which one you want? One is more for like your lap.
Yeah, no,
Can we talk? Excuse me?
I don't know what to do. How am I supposed to put everywhere with all these scones? It doesn't
Can we
fit.
talk?
I don't want to eat it. I'm actually like, full.
Hey.
And mine is bad as far as scone.
What now?
I didn't eat anything until I made that pasta, and I didn't make that pasta until like 6 or 7 p.m. So all I had was a bowl of pasta, 4 pieces of bread, and 4 to 6 scones. I don't feel like that's right?
Mm-hmm.
And the scones have very little sugar in them. It was like 50, ish grams of brown sugar for like
Excuse me?
60 grams of flour and butter and milk.
Okay. That's the benefit of making it yourself. You know exactly what went into it and how much.
I do. I wish I could say that when I only make sweets for myself, that like it ends up being better for me in terms of losing weight and managing weight. When I was in Providence, there are not a million places, or even one or two places to go to get like sweet treats regularly. So pretty much all the sweets I had, I did make, and I almost never bought
An elder candidate?
like packaged
No,
cookies
no.
and stuff from
Must
the
have got
store.
that wrong.
Now what am I to do?
Go make it.
What would
But
the
there
gods
was
do?
like no, oh, it's like lunchtime and we get a cookie from this place. There weren't very many places that had sweet work getting. So it was like get a cookie from Starbucks, get a cookie from my Chloe, or get an insomnia cookie, and that's it.
More people missing. I'm out of ideas.
Just a sec.
I'm gonna go through my personal email boxes are all so many unanswered, uncategorized emails. And it's been a mess for like 3 weeks. And I keep saying, oh, when I work, I'll do it, I'll figure it out. So I need to do that ASAP. Because I need to respond to this person that put on the therapy list that said I got COVID, or no, that I was home, that I got COVID.
All right then. Go. What is it?
I have a thing, I have stuff I need to get done.
Hey, listen.
All right then.
When you were forced to read books, which books did you end up liking that surprised you? Okay, good.
Which I think.
Take a while.
I don't know. I read a lot of nonfiction when I was growing up. When I was younger. So I read. I don't know. I forget what the book was, but it was like the. It was by Marcus Garvey. It's the rules, some set of rules he created for his corporation.
Mm-hmm.
That was always interesting. Then I also read Black Wall Street in high school.
It's a very rough reading list for youth. I wasn't reading stuff like that. I don't feel like I was asked to read really any nonfiction in high school except for what's the one? Either Leaving Grass or Blue Army Art. I did really read. And then we read this book about it's like a nature book. It was a modern nature book, very fun book. Such a tourist. But she was describing like things that maybe
What's up?
really ashamed.
Damn.
Are you gonna help me tonight?
Sure, why not? You gotta see. You gotta.
What did you say?
You already beat me to it. I said you gotta share your screen.
Can you see it?
Mm-hmm.
1978 single. Earth, Wind, and Fire song. Internet themes introduced in 2016. Kirk Franklin's unofficial. Oh, wait. It's September?
Well, my people say stop.
Is that an Earth, Wind, and Fire song? Because it's the unofficial observances. I know some people fake observe the 18th of September. Do you remember? What are some other famous Earth, Wind, and Fire songs? You wouldn't know. You didn't grow up on this song.
Nope. Internet memes introduced in 2016.
You should know this. Reasons that we're here. That's a song, but that's not. Do you remember? 24? I feel like it's September. What's the other Earth, Wind, and Fire song I know? I'm so September. I don't know about the Kirk Franklin. Hey. 1397, bitch! No, I don't know a Buddhist temple in Kyoto. Fuck off. What are famous Buddhist temples? You know this.
That's your
century Buddhist temple.
That's your default when you don't know something. You go, you know this.
No, it's that. I'm sure one of the many anime shows you watch has mentioned famous temples. No?
Mm-hmm.
Oh my goodness. You want to go to Japan, but you don't know any famous temples. Look at you.
Rebuilt buildings and structures in Japan.
You can read. Look at that. I'm sorry. That was rude. I'm so sorry, honey. Structures destroyed by arson. I can't name a Buddhist temple, let alone one in Kyoto. I can't name mosques. I can name a blue mosque in Turkey. I couldn't tell you what city in Turkey it is.
It's the I don't know what it is. But it's the tower.
Okay, the tower. Final answer.
Yeah, I don't know what the name of the tower is, but if I had to think of what it was, it's one of those like multi-tiered towers. Yeah, how would
Temple of the Golden Pavilion. Was I supposed to write it in fucking kanji too? But shut up. Like, really? Alright. First century monarchs in Europe. First century rebels.
this is
60.
this is content. You should be recording yourself doing this.
I should. You're right. 61 deaths. Ancient rebels. What? Oh. What is her name? British rebels. Wait, are you writing on it? Stop it, Yasin. Britain monarchs. What's wrong with you? Okay, so wait, something odd. Oh, Lord. Oh, Lord. Sister just texted me. She said, I almost found your brother tonight. Laughing my ass off. Laughing face emoji.
She not laughing.
She not laughing. He kept provoking me while I was out. Wouldn't leave me alone. I don't have to deal with that. A British woman warrior. I do know the name of this person, but I don't. There used to be there was this book I read in elementary school. It was called Girls Who Rock the World. And it would tell you about stuff like this, like Joan of Arc, Rosa Parks. Just like famous women who were like first or exceptional.
Amelia Earhart.
Yeah.
Susan B. Anthony. Susan B. Anthony.
She was very good.
Mm-hmm.
Baby, I literally said this.
Boudica.
Political tabletop game, Roman Empire. No, what is it called?
Mm-mm.
I never heard of it. I'm really upset now. And she's one of the dogs on Gargoyle. I mean, it's an Irish dog. This skulls for sure. Yeah.
So smart.
Yeah, exactly. 1962 or two. What the show say? Oh, the giving tree. Or is it the, it's not the Lord. It's not the Zeus. But Big No Shoes is the giving tree, right?
That was it a film?
I can't think of any other fictional trees in poems. Can you? What do you think?
You said in poems?
Well, in books. Yeah, picture.
Yeah, go ahead.
Look, our children. 1940 deaths. Births. 86 deaths. 20th century American educators. 20th century American women educators. American folk Irish women. American folk women. American astronauts. Golden State University. Educator astronauts. Birmingham State University. NASA astronaut. People from Birmingham, Massachusetts, people from Atlanta, Ireland, civics and professionals. space battle. The only female astronaut I can name is Mae Jemison and Sally Ride. Sally Ride's another name.
I don't think it's Sally Ride.
It's not that. Yeah, I don't know. Sharon, did she die in an explosion?
No.
That's why she died in 86. She looks like that looks like that she was reading 1940s English language novels, 1940s war. Film set in concentration camps. Films of the Western World War films. Whenever you have concentration camps, but it's World War One. It's World War One. Anti-films of World War Two. What? 1925 in there.
You sound exhausted. um, Scopes versus Tennessee. Mm-mm. I only had to take AP science class. No, in my school, it was like, depending on your major, you had to take AP classes.
Well, yes, it's a good high school section of it.
This is the of the book. Uh, with Atticus Finch.
Did you even read any of it?
I'm mixing up my books. You got half the point. Is it? That's not how I'm viewing it at the moment. Go back. No. No, you good at this.
But Sonic doesn't fit here.
Why you put centipede? Oh, like video games.
The Atari games.
What's comments?
Exactly. That's what I'm like. Like if it's on a video game, fine, but I feel like it's kind of they're tricking you because Sonic doesn't fit on these video games in particular.
Mm-mm. We'll get the F one first, right? Isn't it like
What do you think? No, this is Sean's. I guess fairy tale's not really a genre. Not in a book series. Fantasy.
stories?
See? Okay, pursue. Court. Romance. Charles. Thunder. Fiction. Invention. Fairy tale.
Cheese crackers. Cheese crackers and grapefruit.
Woo!
Nice.
I'm trying to see if I secretly have an HDMI cable. Well, I don't think it is.
Which HDMI do you need?
I'll be able to show you what these things. Not what came my sound. I'm trying to show you without dropping this, but
And what do you need?
I just need an adapter. I need a different adapter. I don't actually need a different HDMI cable. I just need an adapter for this one. For my laptop. Does that make sense?
And you need an adapter that goes from HDMI to...
Here, I can show you what I need. Found it. Internet is not falling out.
Where are your sister and brother right now?
I didn't get it.
Let's go.
Yeah, and he doesn't need to. So let's get all the
Really?
research the course he needs. Oh, it's based on my experience with bikes. These things are gonna help.
Oh. Let's
I think I need this.
Absolutely. Pretty good at this. My girlfriend paper is better here.
Or whatever you have, that works for me too.
For myself, that is.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Something similar to that.
Right.
I'm gonna stop sharing.
I have an extra one, but it's really the one that remember when I was like, if you move the monitor, it'll conk out. It's that one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's okay, baby. I'm not pressed. I'll get it tomorrow, or I'll get it sometime this week. Yeah, I guess I should have.
All right. Nice little village. Here's where we are now.
Is the thing not connect the PlayStation and HDMI?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, baby. It's part of my New Year's resolution to play more games.
Okay. Okay.
That's my life. Absolutely. There's a game I saved a while ago on trial. I feel like it's one of those, like, life games. Like, it's not like about shooting things or killing trolls. And I also want to try the Star Trek game that is clearly for children, but I
Hey. Hmm?
How come you don't play games here anymore? Can you come over?
Now what am I to do?
You?
I do.
Maybe?
So I do.
Now then.
I didn't hear you.
I said I do. Oh, I think it's because it's not engaging for both of us.
You don't care where you're at with things.
Well, here you have Hogwarts to engage with.
What?
Hogwarts to engage with.
No, baby, I'm on stuff.
But
I don't need to finish this game. Or rather, I consider myself done. I was just trying to finish up, like, quests, but I don't need to. Like, finish up that. I don't know.
Hold on.
intriguing. Hopeless.
Did we really need a chat called hotels? Really?
It's over. In those days, it's a living hell.
Really?
Just a fantasy.
No.
Why? Listen. Don't ever forget that. Therefore, no pain can stop me now.
What? That was a picture?
Even then,
Damn. They got me.
you there.
That's...
I'm off.
Time marches on, and the age of a new king draws nearer.
Oh, what was I doing?
Is it finally time?
So,
More people missing.
I don't know who I am. I've seen this whole
All
game
right, let's go.
15 times today.
Now then.
Why?
Hello.
Just why?
Aha! I've been...
And that's your mother's credit card. She didn't answer any of my questions. She was like, I'm very triggered. I don't know what to say to that. Alright, I think I need to go to bed.
Let's move.
Going to bed, baby?
I'm gonna try, but you should tell me to read the science.
You can watch it.
Yeah, good. Okay, I'll see my bookcase.
So when I came to this place and I was like, "Is this Sabriel?" You said no.
Baby, Sabriel, I don't have Sabriel.
But it was Labriel.
No, first of all, don't be disrespectful. It's Sabriel, Lyriel, and I'm listening to Clariel.
So it was Clariel.
So it was not Sabriel. I didn't lie.
But you could have been like, it is a sequel.
It's not a sequel. It's a prequel.
You could have said it's a prequel.
I don't need to tell you anything. Okay. Can you see all the books? Wow, there's lots of stuff in the way. Okay, we got the Holy Bible. We got the Quran. What is that? That is, that's poems, the Gibran. That's the Alchemist.
Let us hurry.
Next to that is Jacqueline Woodson, Miracle's Voice. Next to that is Wolf Tower by Kenneth Lee.
Not so sure
Life is
about
Funny by E.R. Frank.
You have
Hiding
to see-
is Cyrena by Donna Jo Napoli. There's One Piece by, what's his name? It is his name. Oda. Big Oda, not the little one. The 100,000 Kingdoms by N.K. Jemisin. This is what I was reading next to that. The Green Book. That's what I was reading when we were in Scotland. I finished that one though. This is a weird book I got in New Orleans. I think it's like a slave narrative. Yeah.
That one.
Huh?
That one.
I didn't finish. This is another book I got. It's called When the
Trusting
World.
they could not.
You can finish it now.
Excuse me?
Excuse me. You can finish it now.
Heck.
Anyways, this is The Sweetness of Water by Nathan Harris. Maggie, a Girl in the Streets by Stephen Crane. I started reading that on my iPad, but I didn't finish it. Jane Austen's Persuasion. I started that, didn't finish that. James Baldwin.
Got 'em up.
Go Town on the Mountain, started, not finished. The Souls of Black Folks by W. Du Bois, started that years ago, didn't finish it. The Confident Body, You Got Me That From Your Job. I should return that to you at some point. These Arabic
Hi.
books, Arabic dictionary, the astrology books. I don't need to read those. Freedom in Congo Square, that's a picture book, I'm not a baby. Liberty, that's a historical fiction book
Hey,
set in Brooklyn about Haitian
Right.
girl. The Bells, that's a fantasy book I wanted to read. Within These Wicked
All
Walls
right.
is another fantasy book. Prairie Lotus is like Little House on the
All
Prairie
right.
with a little Asian girl, little Chinese girl. Born Confused I've read many times by Tanisha Desai, Hedier. Sex and History is a book I started reading when I was visiting my ex-boyfriend when he lived at Penn State. And
The
I never
dog
finished
could've
it
got
because
another-
I had to return it to the library in Cornell. And I never could find it because he's not really an actual historian, so who knows how accurate this book is. But I thought it was really interesting. And then these three are Laini Taylor books, one of my favorite books. Daughter Silk and Bone,
Indeed.
Blood and Starlight, Days of Blood and Starlight, Dreams of Gods and Monsters. That's a trilogy. Okay, which one?
The trilogy.
Oh my god. I don't know why I talked to you. Never mind. A trilogy I've read before. I should read again.
What?
no.
This time you can start wherever you want.
No,
Right
I don't
then.
need to. I've read it a lot. I don't need to reread it. Thank you so much for your help. Is a strong word.
Hail.
Let's go.
Can I say something controversial?
Huh?
I don't think I like America Ferrera as an actress, and I don't think she's a very good one.
it was your run.
You don't have anything to say about my problematic
Why
tape?
are you in a gauntlet runner?
I'm in the
I've only seen her in like what, 2 things?
Isn't that why you're out here?
Barbie.
I'm sorry, but the throne will be mine. Here and now, nobody
I've seen her in
gets
a
off
lot of
easy.
things. I feel like I've been following her career trajectory.
I don't
I saw
think
her
she's
the
thought this
first
through.
mainstream
I
thing
know
she
we
did,
got
which was
some
Real Women
history,
Have
but
Curves.
we can't afford to let her beat us.
Seeker! In the name of justice, I shall vanquish evil. Hack and slash.
No, you gotta aim better than that.
Only a flesh wound.
Oh, please.
Come! This won't do. Behold! We stand together! Right there!
Nothing.
By the sworn oath of night! Is that all?
Girl, you're gay. Go with that.
Vitus power.
Nice hit. That
In the
was
name
perfect.
of justice, no holding back. I'll cut you down.
Right on target. Nice one, Troll. Come on, then.
Damn, that baby's not cute.
Oh, power of heroes!
I feel like she's actually a lot like Mindy Kaling, but she flies under the radar.
Take this!
For Mindy Kaling. By Mindy Kalingness, I mean she's never in a movie where she's dating a Latino man. So it's a white man. What are you watching that you're joining?
Nothing. Is that all?
I'm watching this white man break down One Piece.
You watched the episode?
Mm-mm.
Are you prepared?
It's not really like new episodes at the moment.
Are you well?
I knew you'd help. Trust needed. Observe.
Because
This won't do.
they're doing a new edition of a previous story. It's just supposed to be like in high definition,
Let justice prevail.
but I'm not watching it.
Mm-hmm.
Right there.
Nothing.
With blade in hand. Huh. Take this.
Remember, hold yourself together. Come on, then. There's no chance of Hulkenberg's anxious.
Okay, baby, I'm gonna try and get some sleep.
Come forth, royal soul.
I'll see you tomorrow for
Now,
date,
what's the play?
for therapy date.
Mhm.
You're so cute and adult. Love that, bro. Oh, you're so cute. I get.
I can't afford
What
to
kind
hold
of
back.
should I get you?
The chocolate one.
Warrior!
What? That sounds like some sexual
Try
shit.
not
A
to
chocolate ring? What are you talking?
So good!
Come on, then.
Okay, say goodbye to me.
Can anyone heal him?
No, honey.
Bye, honey. Love you. Have a good night. Don't stay up too late like Freya. Okay, bye.
My mom.
I don't know their weakness. Guess we'll just try what
Let
we've got.
justice prevail. Not now. Not this one. Just the thing. Is everyone all right?
Someone heal him.
This should help. That helped.
My thanks.
Last chance to give up.
Vitus power. No holding back.
You gotta eat better than that. Let's do this fair and square.
With blade in hand, I stand waiting.
Come on then. Hockenberg's in bad shape.
Let's go.
Still up?
Are you prepared?
You are good.
I'll cut you down.
Slow hope. You gotta eat better than that. This is a joke.
What can I do?
Badly wounded. Can anyone heal him?
For all that we strive for! Worthy foe after all! Right there! Radiant cling to light.
It's okay. We can do this. Vitus power.
Win!
You have it a lot. Even in a hand-to-hand fight, I can't win. I can't take this. This frustration.
Excellent. Now that's an achievement. I'll strive for greater heights.
Excellent. I've acquired a new power.
Damn it all! I've lost.
Right. Hey,
If you want my opinion, what we have here is oh, certainly.
I see.
In it. The truth is, I suppose. Never felt so alive. See you soon. And then,
The gauntlet runner what creeps through the sands outside.
Getting real chilly.
Your thoughts? Well, well.
Indeed. Well then,
Thank
say? Ah. Spare a moment?
Really?
Quite. Do you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Are you ready? It's not.
covenant to forgive those who have harmed our own? Are we wise enough to put a stop to the legacy of hate? Are we compassionate enough to see ourselves in others, even foes? And what do we want our legacy to be? Welcome to my channel and Quest of Fantasy. Let's talk One Piece specifically, but first the saga, including the referred to Shiragi and the Fishman arcs. I won't take a ton of opportunity responding to this a pretty short little arc, but it is delightful to see this Let's get back together again.
Time marches on, and the age of a new king draws nearer.
Abilities and powers, it was really cool to see, especially Goofy with his hockey and all of that. Great stuff.
The Gauntlet Runner quietly comes to a stop before the giant sandworm's nest. It is the day that the sleep-inducing sand.
I will not spoil this, but I did watch the One Piece fan letter and thoroughly enjoyed it. I am not an anime watcher, but I was advised by so many people to check that out.
This weather should have all the sandworms conked out.
Speaking of which, what exactly do they look like? It does present
I only got a glimpse of
the
the lava.
events of the Marineford arc,
As
as well
shoe-like as
as
any worm,
the return to
they grow
Sabaody
quite
from a different
steadily in their
perspective,
lifetime.
which is really
It's the
valuable.
tremendously
It
large
is the
ones that
perspective
end
of
up
us,
deadly
of
threats.
the fans, the
I don't even want to
viewers,
think
the
about it.
readers of One Piece,
What kind of
but
man would
also
want to
the
live
ordinary
in a
everyday people.
den of those things?
And as such, it was a really great
Did you hear that?
way to provide insight into who the Straw Hats are, what they represent, and what they can represent for us,
So that's it,
ordinary people.
But what's
Who,
going on?
after all,
Did we
we
get
have
bad
dreams as
information?
well. We have a
That's
legacy
no
to leave in
sandworm.
this world.
A horror like that could
And
only
speaking of
be...
which, the idea of legacy is just so key to this
Damn it!
beautiful series.
We can't die
When
here!
you get to Fishman Island, you do see Rayleigh's memories of Roger with his straw hat. I don't know where that straw hat came from.
This isn't what we heard
And
about.
yeah,
What's
it
going on?
even begin with the Shanks. So that was kind of cool. But there is, of course, deep symbolism with that straw hat. It is a symbol of
Scour! In the name of justice!
Will, the desire for life, desire to pursue one's dreams. These are things that are handed down, and we see that Luffy was worthy of this strong, of those dreams. And this is also a very interesting statement about destiny versus pursuing those things, whether it's through.
I shall fight call upon royal power within!
The idea that you can defy your destiny by being courageous.
Hack and slash! Is everyone all right?
Everything to you guys.
With blade in hand! Behold! We stand together!
And another example
I
of
crush you!
is the story of Puma. There's beauty in this. Because this is his legacy, the preservation of this torch. Ultimately, probably it is a mission of sorts that he inherits from Dragon, Luffy's father. So it is interesting to see that he actually asked Dr. Vegapunk, who I was assuming was kind of a villain, but apparently if he's willing to help Puma in this way, he's probably just another subject of the world government. Being told from his part that he did allow Puma that one last mission. He did program him with that last mission that he requested. Help the Straw Hats, which I thought was beautiful. The Navy is definitely using him, but he was able to subvert the Navy just that little bit by, of course, previously flicking the Straw Hats away to their various places where they would learn how to be stronger. It seems entirely by design. Each of the places turned out to be ideal for each of the Straw Hats to learn to be stronger. So that was intentional, I'm sure. But he also guarded their ship until the first of them.
No holding back!
So this is sacrifice. This is the passing on of the gift. This is legacy. An idea is bigger than an individual, and pursuing such ideas gives purpose to life. So this is a beautiful theme that we see as well in the main story of Fishman Island, where you have figures like Queen Okokuno and Fisher Tiger, who both understand that the passing on of a dream in order to make the world better is a tremendously important legacy. Though they do differ, and we'll talk about that later. They do differ in how they proceed
I shall
to
fight as the noble I am.
what the fate of the but we see the opposite of them in the villains of this saga, in Danny Duckin and Cody, where they are different, of course, as well. Danny Duckin, to me, is basically a narcissist. He's all about me. If I can't have Princess Hirohoshi, no one will. Basically, say. So I think he's basically a narcissist, whereas Cody is consumed by fate. He is like Arlong from before, but he is Arlong on steroids, literally. He is willing to sacrifice everything to his hatred. Not just his enemy, not just his perceived foe, not just the other, but even his own kind.
I can't afford to hold
If
back.
they disagree with him, if they disagree with him, they are to be uprooted.
I can't
You're
afford to
either
hold back.
with me or you're against me.
Come forth,
He's
royal soul.
going to sacrifice all with his hatred. And the hatred is itself symbolized in the steroids, which
In
make
the
up
name of justice.
out of Cody, essentially. And burn him out, because that is what happens to him. Especially at the end, when they shriveled up old people, they essentially have been burned out by the hatred. So the steroids, I think, are a really powerful metaphor for hatred and how it drives Cody and the others, but ultimately it brings them out of a dead end. But his worldview is to dehumanize the other, to not see himself in the other. And this is symbolized in the order that everyone should step on the photo of Odahime. In other words, it is an act not of just defiance, not of just disagreeing with what Odahime stands for, but by taking away the very you are beneath me, you are underneath me, and step on it.
Is everyone I'll destroy you!
Now, as for Odahime herself, and please do forgive me if I'm mispronouncing any of the names that are new to me. I do not watch the anime, I'm a reader only, and I don't look up things because I don't want to get spoiled by looking at things on the internet. So please do gently correct me in the comments if I'm mispronouncing any names. I do appreciate that. But as for Queen Odahime herself, this is a beautifully realized character in this, but essentially her mission is to cure the barriers. He wants to heal the rift between the fishmen and humans. He wants to bring about peace. And in this, I find so many similarities between her and Martin Luther Gandhi or Martin Luther King Jr. He wants to go about healing the rifts between various people through peace, through understanding, through seeing oneself in the other, understanding that we are all human. She wants the people of Fishman Island to become part of the rest of the world. She sees that their segregation, whether segregation is self-imposed or imposed by someone else, it is a dead end. It will only continue to foster misunderstanding, ignorance, hatred. He understands, Odahime understands that we all share the same. There's another beautiful metaphor in here among several that is so powerfully realized that she understands that her people need to be under the same sun, that this is how they will thrive. And she understands the longing of her people to live in to be as others. And this is very much seen in the fact that they cherish the roots of the sun tree that connect them to the rest of the world. Now, this is beautiful, and it also shows how she understands how to overcome distance, because she moves among her people.
We can do that.
She is powerful. She chooses to move among her people, to ask for people to sign her petition, to out there and to understand them, to be able to run them. They're not separate herself. She is a figure of deep compassion. And she understands the need to break the legacy of hate by not hating even the person. That is really something. And also making her daughter scared, not to bring retribution, hate the person who kills her. And he is not a perfect individual, she's not saints. Sometimes she's over emotional, sometimes she clearly feels distress. But she never gives up on her she never gives up on her fight, despite the lack of her success with her petition. Is she too idealistic for this world? I don't know, I just cited a couple of historical figures who do some of her philosophy quite successfully, transform people around them, transform the world through their discrimination, through their bravery, through their commitment, their love, peace. So, I guess I would answer that, no, she's not too idealistic. But this is something that is her way, an effective way, to combat hate. I think so. Because she passes on her truth. It manages to influence this celestial dragon. Okay, so this is the most, we've seen the celestial dragons who think of themselves as not even human because they're superior to humans. They think of themselves as love, everyone, that nothing else even matters, that other lives are simply theirs to exploit as they wish, and do what they want with. So even someone with that amount of prejudice and ignorance and hatred is someone that Orihime can influence through her commitment to love and passion. And she's able to convince a celestial dragon whose life she saves to get on board with the idea of healing the rift between Christian and humanity, overcoming his prejudice to some degree, which I think is a good thing. So this is raising the question: is it possible for even the most despicable of us to be redeemed? Are such people capable of redemption? People like that celestial dragon. Is compassion, in fact, toward people like that, or people like the celestial dragon, is compassion the answer rather than punishment and retribution? These are very important questions that Oda raises in the course of this story, and I think he does so very effectively and is asking us to explore the answers to those questions. Now, speaking of legacy and being passed along, Queen Orihime gives her legacy to her daughter, Princess Shirahoshi, her legacy of peace and understanding, which is ironic in a way because Shirahoshi is in fact the incarnation of the Poseidon, as we learn here. This is the ancient, world-shattering weapon that we've been hearing about and is referred to in poneglyphs that Robin is deciphering. And of course, what we learn is that Shirahoshi is the weapon that has control over the Neptunians, which is interesting because she is Poseidon. And Neptunism is the Latin name for Poseidon, which is the Greek name for that god of the seas. So that's really interesting to me. And that's not the only way in which she is pampered and isolated and very naive and afraid. And Luffy's shtick upon her Rigby, it had me laughing a lot with his kindness and all of that. But we put that all on one side, but then on the other side you have her compassion. And there is great strength in this character. And there is great strength in compassion. So that is an interesting paradox to me as well. Who among us could forgive our mother's earth? Who among us has the strength to do that? Now that is something that some individuals are willing to do, to forgive.
I see the enemy.
I personally necessarily have the strength to do so. But it is something that I do here.
If it's useful, I say grab it.
And if you can to give,
I imagine that would be
her own mother in order to kill this
Take it with us.
So you
There they are.
Do it again.
But you have
Sounds good to me.
tremendous strength. Now, it is Ruby, of course, who is the one to get her out, to get her Ruby in her life.
Right there.
To the course of the scene. That is good. Ruby is a really good about legacy. You can see the symbolism again in that legacy. And she's, in the most funny way, gets her, of course, hidden inside Mega. Ruby's doing an idea of getting trapped. So we're having good fun here. But somehow or other, brilliantly combines grouping this and fun with these really serious themes once again. And this is the thing let's talk about that.
What now?
But Luffy's bluntness and his love of adventure. This is what she needs to fly. This is what she needs to be free, to pursue that legacy. The isolation as a response to fear is debilitating. When we isolate ourselves in response to fear, we tend to back ourselves. We must be part of the world in order to be who we're meant to be.
Right there.
We must move out our
There they are.
And now, she also makes the ultimate sacrifice, putting her people ahead of her own. And I think it's so well, that thing is also really interesting. The symbolism that we get in these brilliantly done, and you know, being a touch with biblical symbol as well, a symbol of compassion and mercy and salvation, a symbol of the salvation of humanity and mercy upon humanity. Also, Door Boy, okay, it's something to look out for. And the idea that Luffy, like Roger, can hear the Neptunians, that the Neptunians just drag Noah away after Shirahoshi saves the day by calling them using her power. Shirahoshi saves the day here, not Luffy, and I think that is a strong and important message. It's not the fist that saves the day, it's the compassion that saves the day here in this particular arc. And another character here I think that is really important to talk about is Fisher Tiger. Also a figure whose legacy runs strong.
There they are.
We can understand why Fisher Tiger is human and been enslaved.
I see the enemy.
And suffered from prejudice, the racism of this stuff, because he has suffered. And yet, he has found that
there they are. I see the enemy.
He does stand for segregation because he is not able to fight for the time for his but he understands, and he is compassionate. And you see this when he saves the girl and risks his life. He saves her from slavery, and he risks his life to bring her home to the future. And he does result in bringing them.
Let's take it with us.
And in his arc, we also see the beginning of the symbolism of the blood. Now, blood is very much like the sun in this particular saga, a symbol for our humanity. We all have the same blood. Even Sanji's stupid nosebleeds become part of this theme, actually, as they help us to see the ridiculous Sanji needs blood because he's been seeing too many mermaids, and he can't get blood because of his prejudice. That has taken over the minds of the people of Fishing Islands because of what has been brought to them. You see this out of hatred. You see this the legacy of violence. And even though the Fishing Tiger was unable to accept anything for the time that went there, we see the fulfillment of the sentence in Jinko. And this is where I find another of my favorite panels in One Piece. Just got so emotional at this moment where you have Jimbo giving his blood in defiance of the rules, in defiance of the laws, in defiance of the prejudice. He gives his blood to save his friend. And this is the moment. Oda beautifully combines these two symbols of the sun, the road to the sun, and the journey of time only when we realize we are sharing this life. And Luke even in that moment invites Jimbo to go up to food. I think we have a new crew member here as well in this saga. I thought we were done having two members, but no, I think Jinbei is going to be part of the crew. I love the idea that we have fishermen here and then food. And Jinbei is rapidly becoming a food. But yeah, that one is actually good. That
so heavy.
But you also also have to consider on both sides, Christian side and human side, you have actually the prejudice that we grew up with. And you have go back to Tom, his brother, little brother Gun, who helped Frankie with the ship, with the Sunny, the Thousand Sunny, and also you have Whitebeard, who had compassion, prevented humans from putting them on Fishing Island. And then, after the ancient energy, we have Nami's forgiveness. Fire and of course,
now I shall vanquish evil.
In the process of doing discipline, yes, I suffered because of what these others did to me. But who I am now, the people I'm with now, they're also part of what's happening. And she embraces her for herself.
My thanks.
And what an entirely beautiful moment that is. That's forgiveness. That's cleansing. It's the act of forgiving that allows them to let go of the hatred and the fear and to become a whole person again. Just find out so compelling and beautiful. You also have this freedom from hate that results. And freedom, as you know, is really important in one piece. Freedom from hate would be necessary. But if you want to be told that you can see with exchange. And going back to Jinbei, he also understands the importance of moving, not just crashing in and
There they are.
getting over with his own without being an experience of mission.
I see the enemy.
If you just come in to save the day, then of course, because this is, taking another mission. I think it's brilliant the way that he goes about getting that information. And then it's, of course, Luffy Unleashed, which is everybody put it for that, obviously. But then they come into the importance of action between those who have this each other. So, to overcome Taken, they must be united with respect for each other. Respect for each other's will. The alternative to that respect is hatred. It denies the will of the other.
Great.
As Prince Udagoshi explains about Odie, such hatred that denies humanity of the other is void. It is empty. It denies experience. It denies compassion. But recognizing humanity in the other means not allowing us district to even exist. If we are moving, we do not allow such places to exist. That we sweep the drugs away and deny that they are even human, that we see them as garbage, as in the previous informants. But this is what makes hatred possible. This is what makes it and it's not just in the obvious acts of violence. Because it can be very denial, easily opposed, but we feel and just sort of getting into
That's fine. Looks like a
another thing that Udagoshi brings up is the idea of denying the past, of destroying the past. Which brings up the question, how do we transcend? How do we overcome decades and even centuries of hatred and neglect, tolerance, fear? How do we transcend it? How do we move on? And I think that Udagoshi is the answer in this particular saga. It is an answer that puts in the mind of Luffy. And the answer is friendship. What does friendship entail but the acknowledgement of the other, the acknowledgement of their dreams, of their hopes and aspirations, the acknowledgement of their humanity, and seeing oneself You also, of course, in addition to these themes, have some epic fights in here. You have the Straw Hats rising to the occasion with their new abilities. Some really cool stuff, obviously. It does, in fact, culminate after the victory in a one-piece party, which is entirely appropriate and beautiful. What better symbol can we have of unity in the end? This is why I think Oda loves drawing parties, because he is affirming love, he is affirming connection, he is affirming compassion, and that is just a beautiful thing. But in the end, we do see Madame Charlie's prophecy, in a sense, coming true. Luffy has, in a sense, destroyed the old Dutchman Island. He is a catalyst for change, that is for sure. And he and the Straw Hats have brought about important change here. In the process, of course, showing off their cool powers and fighting against the odds and playing against 100,000 and all that.
What now?
But they also help to importantly restore the will of the people of this planet. They are an example of courage. They are an inspiration to strive. They are, in fact, a symbol of the restoration of will. And this is what gives us meaning when we participate vicariously in that triumph, in that victory. We experience the restoration of our own will and the sense of meaning for others. And that's the wonderful thing about the story.
Ready?
Finish it.
And that is why we must respect the beings. Even the Kraken, it has its will restored by the
No holding back!
And of course, there are bigger adventures to come here at the end. We have the scene by Luffy angered in the most Luffy-like way. We've got Big Mom and the 4 Emperors. We're going to go on to New World with enemies already lined up here. Blackbeard is out there as well, winning. And of course, talking about the feud between Akainu and Aokiji. But yeah, big things are happening out there in the world. Are ready to venture out and face. So that is it for me for now. So it's the backstory for the main character through the series. After the scene of death, which is awesome, and relegates the most important supporting characters to the sidelines during one of the most important arcs of the entire series. That is convinced that Oda is playing four-dimensional chess. And I'm convinced of this by a specific moment in this fantastic story that Rob is talking about. One moment, a devastating, beautiful sunlight and light of any body that absolutely encapsulates the sublimity of this. But the backstory in that moment
Let's stay calm.
We are devastated.
After me! Give me your aid! No, the warrior! I'll cut you down!
It's okay. We can do this looking good here.
Observe the enemy.
Devastation. We also feel the operation.
Are you prepared?
Decision to
The freedom of a wanderer.
This doesn't work. We need a different approach.
How do you find this?
Warrior! I'll cut you down!
Because we
The freedom of a
Royal soul!
I stand for all that we strive for.
stumbling his way back to the light. Ricky grabs the thing that is saving him from
We
his
stand together.
Like this!
In that moment, I realized just how much kindness this drop was. That we were absent, largely absent.
Are you prepared?
Carrying forward in the post-war arcs. And I think that was a brilliant touch on Oda's part, having those to give us this devastatingly beautiful moment. Helping us understand just how much they are, isn't it? One Piece is One Piece is good. One Piece is good. Welcome to my channel. I'm the best of fantasy. Today, let's talk about One Piece, specifically the new towards post-war arcs of the Summit War Saga. It has taken me a while to get this final company for you. It's just wow. I've been to the ringer on this one. Feeling a bit like I was in the midst of all that stuff, but let's talk about it. Let's begin with Ace.
I shall vanquish evil.
In another panel that convinced me of Oda's genius. In the opening, the Marine Board, a month that is extremely reminiscent of the very opening of One Piece, where we see Gold use Roger at the very start, swords draws, ready for his execution. And we see that the Emperor has not fallen far from the tree, even though Ace is not his daughter, Roger as his true father, right? Yes. This is a lot of foreshadowing.
Are you prepared?
It is a lot of foreshadowing about his two fathers, sons, that we see throughout the
Here?
what does it mean to be Win as a son, ready to start out on his own. Win as a father, ready to let go. What does that do to children here from him? Ace finds himself in the same he regards Redbeard as his true father. There's also plenty in here about mothers. You can see that Ace is particularly made an incredible sacrifice to save his life, holding on to him until he was saved at the cost of her own life. The sacrifice of parents. This is a major thing of this particular saga. The sacrifice of parents in parental figures. You can see it in something like that. He makes a very different decision. He makes a different sacrifice, choosing his ideals over his ideals, but also basically cost. one father who most certainly does love his children is Whitebeard. And it's this vast convergence of power, this amazing battle sequence that battles against this apocalyptic, incredible vision. I'm not going to go into a lot of details about all of the fighting and everything this. It's just it's continuously off balance during all this, and amazed at the scaling up of everything here. But what I found most beautiful is the loyalty.
Well,
of course, is his theme as well. You see it amidst all of these powers of Tensei days. You see it amongst Luffy and his followers. Luffy, who has won the loyalty of so many, through being who he is, through, as we learn too, something perhaps to do with his country as well. But there's just so much emotionally amidst all of this. We learn how Ace became Whitebeard's son in the first place. Meeting Shanks and Jinbei along the way, and also going from foe to son of Whitebeard, and even eventually the leader of the crew, earning their loyalty to him. They are there despite Ace disobeying, going out to avenge their crew member by hunting down Blackbeard against Blackbeard's orders. And he is attempting to bring Blackbeard to justice. And Whitebeard and the rest of them pretend that Ace didn't disobey, or preserve their part of honor, in order to confirm their crewmate, their brother in the midst of this. I find that is so beautiful. Whitebeard and his crews and their allies, just so many great, wow details. Marco the Phoenix, maybe one of my favorites. I love this guy. He has some fantastic moments in there. But you got them, you've got the world government, you've got the warlords, you've got the admirals. Just is the greatest concentration of the base convergence that has happened thus far in One Piece, for sure. It is also, importantly, the end of an era, beginning of something new. But there are just so many moments I could shout.
Make yourself at home.
Little Oars Jr. Little Oars Jr., who provides a count. Boa Hancock sabotaging her erstwhile supposed allies in order to help Luffy. You have Whitebeard earth-shattering, literally earth-shattering power. There's just the mayhem, which is encapsulated in Doflamingo's reveling in the chaos.
Fascinating.
He's kind
this
of
right
a
here,
low-key figure here in the midst of all this. And he importantly notes that justice will prevail undecidedly because without inside of the river, the river gets to define justice. So it's kind of cynical view of justice, which again is another major theme throughout these arcs. Just another big One Piece thing, which we're going to talk about some more. But in the midst of this, all of this chaos and battle and power and everything else falls. Of course he falls from the sky. Of course he falls. Luffy and his allies. We've got Eva, Jinbei, even Crocodile. All the people who escaped from Impel Down. And they've arrived in the midst of this to save Ace. I love the meaning of Luffy and Whitebeard in particular because there is despite the rivalry, I'm going to say Ace, I'm going to, there is a bond that forms, a respect that grows rapidly between these two. And it begins, I think, when Luffy prevents Crocodile's treacherous attempt on Whitebeard's life. Though Crocodile, importantly, does redeem himself, I think, something over here in the midst of the conflict. I'll mention those moments as well.
All right.
Really good moments in here, saving the day, so to speak. But yeah, this rivalry bond between Luffy and Whitebeard,
all right,
great stuff. And of course, Ace tries to protect I will go away. I don't want you here. I'm missing that. Every time you tell me to go away, you're a little boy. There's no backstory or something after that. But, so I also picked the protocol, and of course, Luffy responds with the setting as it was, and he was a little boy. He is just so beautifully stubborn and loyal, and just uncomfortable. That's why he got Luffy. And while he vows to save Ace, even if he kills him, Ace is on his last step. He wishes to spare his friends, his family, feeling all this time unworthy of their sacrifice for him. And it's really later that we learn the full extent. There's the thoughts about his own and his question be better if he hadn't done more. Despite Luffy's determination does become evident that he is very further. Relies on the help of his partners at this point, saving him from smoke or for example.
It's
There
conceivable.
is a sense of
That's you.
gloom looming over the whole time. For example, when Eva learns from Go Flamingo that Puma is that his human is his husband, which is seemingly a consequence of him volunteering as a revolutionary to perhaps infiltrate the world government. But that being the case, Loki is perhaps overmatched for those signs of maturity. Even in the midst of being overmatched and determined, he does show some signs. There's such a thing as Mihawk, of course. Mihawk being a pretty elected.
You'll come again.
The warlords and doing the job for he notes Luffy's calmness and his power of making other people, so related to his happy as well. His power to make other people want to help him. And I think that Mihawk has some really good insights. Perceptive. It's a very cool character as well. And you see the world government's not only its power, but its manipulation in order to make the world believe in its invulnerability, in its righteousness, in its inevitable correctness. They turn off the broadcast so that they can lie to the world, preserve the illusion of connection. Though, of course, Buggy's shenanigans interrupt these plans. Buggy has a role of all of this, as he's trying to be opportunistic, as usual. But they're just huge conflicts in here.
Onward.
What do you think?
And Luffy is, again, out of the lead. There's the cleverness, too, not just the power, but the cleverness of the Navy. That's how you say that. The big cheese, the head of the admirals, the exact title, I'm sure someone will remind me of. He manipulates Squad that he provides. Squad, one of Whitebeard's pirates, into betraying Whitebeard. Oh my goodness, what a horrible moment. And in this moment, though, we also learn enough about just Whitebeard's determination, his power, but also his dedication to his children, his son, his father. He forgives Squad. He forgives his son, asserting his love for him and telling his children to be good.
Indeed.
To be pleased with him. Again, sacrifice of the
What the?
It literally takes pain for the sake of this child in this moment. What a beautiful thing. It is something to believe in.
Well,
take a blade for your kid.
I'm heading out.
And he reserves his wrath for what they've been doing with
On your toes, everyone!
But going back to Luffy, we see continuously throughout these arcs is that becomes
Right there.
very impressive.
Kizaru. His infant tells Luffy, determination is not enough. Also, he needs to if he does win,
We have the
he loves idiots like Luffy. It reminds him, a lot of Ace there. And there is great pathos as well. There's weeping for
Warrior!
Hack and slash.
giving every
I shall show the power of
Luffy
heroes.
is
Not
risking
now.
everything by asking Eva to give him power, to give him strength, the risk of his life. Being with Eva such is the desperation.
From our provision,
We'll take that
I
strength just to be
stand
able
ready.
to save those.
I defer to you.
Whitebeard being fighting in battle, even as he's wounded, and
Hold on.
knowing his own truly how valuable
I think we got them all.
knowing the
We'll be safe for a while.
thinking about Dragon, especially for old English poetry, and Dale in particular. Luffy's hockey also. Even the admirals.
Let's start that somewhere safe.
But it is there. It is present. It's very good. Well, it prevents Ace's death from the Roman human. And also, this kid is important. This kid is important. just Ace playing the Saber, it's also Luffy. Because he sees the future. It's not just a matter of Luffy committing with respect, he sees the future.
There they are.
Push through!
And that is indeed the position of
I see the enemy.
grow out of vulnerability
Let's stash that somewhere
into
safe.
maturity, watching the people strong, strike on their own, find themselves, a new era. And we see it as well with Garp. Garp versus Luffy. It's what a devastating moment. Again, Garp is trying his best to
That should be it. We don't know what's lurking inside.
decided for his ideals over his own
Tracks.
will.
Probably the larva of the giant sandworms. Maybe it would.
There are the memories of Ace and Ruby.
I just heard something.
Gallica, which
Memories
way?
of them as boys, vulnerable children that it
Oh,
was
their
his
footsteps.
role to protect. And he has this moment of intense inner conflict, which makes him hesitate. Luffy is in the position to have to prove one thing and then go over and but he does not hesitate. He does what he must,
Keep
try
your guard up.
to resist an impact.
Who's he?
Of course, only to be outmatched by Sengoku in his uber powerful Buddha form. I mean, you never know what's going to happen in One Piece. See Sengoku's legendary power of his transformation. Whoa! Just wish for something. But I love how their help comes in an unexpected direction.
I think it's gone somewhere.
Mr. 3,
Are you the man we
making
seek?
the wax key, and also there's a little
Name
callback there to
yourselves.
Bankai. Mr. 3 is inspired by the sacrifice of Bankai.
I didn't expect to
Help
hear
Luffy
chief.
achieve this goal.
He's
And
a
I just find
chief.
that again to be so beautiful. You
Never
see
seen
how
one in the flesh.
acts of sacrifice and kindness
We're
and
but another
empathy
lesser
resonate
tribe the city dwellers
in
don't
One
care
Piece.
for.
And that is a beautiful truth that you see here in Mr. 3's small but pivotal role. And
We owe
indeed,
you a debt,
Luffy
it seems.
3's ace.
A knight
And
of the
Mr.
crown,
3
are you? Is that
pretty
why you
glorious
knew my
one.
name?
It
Or
doesn't
perhaps
last,
you know it
but
from
with
the
revenge,
wanted
it is
posters?
glorious from
Both, actually.
I flee to
He
the
has
furthest
explored
depths, and still
intended
they pursue me.
atonement.
Where are the
Like
people you
Whitebeard,
kidnapped?
What are you talking about? I suppose there's no point standing around chatting with someone after my head.
Prodigious strength. Even if he wounded all of the
So he truly was part of the Shadow God.
Shadow God?
Eyes front. He's a knight to be reckoned with.
He will do anything to give his children attention.
Here I come.
But of course, before this hero come a lot of death.
I'll not be anyone's captive without a fight. I'll have to provide some less delicate discouragement. No hard feelings. Allow me to use this.
Huh? There's more high space?
To push me this far. I did not give you enough credit. But against my mirage arts, your strength means nothing.
What the? We've got multiple high space.
Well,
I call
on the
upon the
wrong
royal
side,
power within.
divinity, that he seems to have a measure of mercy.
I shall vanquish evil.
This identity there is no mercy. He is convinced of his righteousness. He is convinced that we see this the enemy is the alive. There's no battle in the sky. It's justice and peace. But justice without mercy. And there is this just horrible thought movement.
Let
This
justice prevail.
a terrible grief.
Mate!
It's just you see God. It is again saying only he's right by his ideals. Telling Sengoku to hold him down, otherwise he would kill him. And there are other
How
sacrifices.
disappointing. Now I know you only see what I want you to see. And once lost it, this should work.
Captain hurt
Give up now.
Let's get him some healing. Captain's on his last legs. Someone
Are you
get him
prepared?
healed.
Are you well?
Thanks. Eyes come!
With Ace and in that moment, devastating and beautiful.
Oh,
That all you have? I have my money.
That's not good.
How about this?
Tactic.
Captain, they slowed you down.
Dastardly independent.
Midas power. Healing power.
I owe you. I shall warrior. No holding back.
How disappointing.
Captain, they've slowed you
with
down.
blade in hand.
Blackbeard, of course, takes his moment.
Was no matter. I can't be neither timid nor
Power
arrogant.
of heroes.
Mockingbird, hold yourself together.
Blackbeard is the
Tis best you.
vultures to look at the dead. This explains, of course, how the gates of justice have opened earlier with Blackbeard's shenanigans, his machinations going on behind the scenes, and he appeals to, in a manipulative moment, he appeals to Whitebeard's.
Let's go.
Now, what's the play? Are you prepared?
How we go?
You gotta aim better than that.
Come. Oh, mystic fire.
Allow me to use this.
Captain's hurt bad. Let's get him some healing.
We can do this.
Thank you.
Helpful as ever.
Let us clean up this mess.
Try not to run.
You think yourself equal to a user's agility? That all you have? Most you've some grand court. I've no intention of.
And he sees that it is not Blackbeard who will be the inheritor. It will not be the one trying for one piece.
Where'd he go?
Even wholly surrounded, too. Tis bad enough that he's skilled. We have an environmental disadvantage here.
But the very first thing he did was save us from a human, right?
So it seemed. Had he not stepped in, he'd be rid of us, and not have to bother exposing himself. A passing string?
Well, we don't know anything for worth noting that the petrification.
Our names still mean nothing then. The people's support is not yet strong enough to protect us.
The guy doesn't even fall down.
Should we investigate the hut in the meantime? Maybe.
Good plan.
It is very foreboding, especially as Blackbeard steals Whitebeard's
Let's do
You
it.
like Blackbeard in the mess.
Doesn't it seem like?
He also sows chaos into painting this media right away
I
as
see.
pigs.
And
How you do.
Really?
But I don't think I'll have it. I Sengoku
indeed.
I'll be cheering for Sengoku all the time. And retailers of power. We have power. We take stand for justice and righteousness.
That,
It's, you know, I'm not,
the truth is,
I get it now.
even
This is-
Oh,
Still determined to
So apparently,
justice is
no.
justice.
This place,
right.
But Crocodile, which is really the Crocodile's moment here, virtually comes forward to save the engine.
Huh?
They both make
that's
Hey.
Will be sacred to Trafalgar
Nice.
laws submarine. Trafalgar shows up. He was my favorite of the newbies. So I was very happy to see him. There was something about
Right then, let's get this plan underway.
Iceman, come
Here's
out! Show
although
yourself!
he's not really
wow, that's some crazy echo.
Kind of nice getting to let loose.
Luis! You
The
did
flash that follows with Blackbeard
gas! Rejected by Hulkenberg! The ravenous, all-devouring sheep beast of the Knight's Order!
ready to destroy everything.
Is this what we've come to? Saying whatever's on our minds?
Who cares?
Well, so be it.
Kanika! The sound of your wings keeps me up at night. Stroll, you think you're so smart.
Consistently bleeding. But of course, a trainer not going to listen to
Gallica, please be nicer to me.
I'm your very guide, not your very godmother. We're on a mission here.
See more mechanics. So I was so glad to see you here to show up here in the nick of time, one of the 4 emperors. I don't understand entirely who these emperors are yet, but
What do you think would happen if that monster showed up without my ears working? You'd all be dead.
he ends the war.
Is this blasted bounty that important to you?
Here's our guest of honor at last. It was never about the money. Children are missing. We can't just ignore a kidnapper.
Kidnapper? I see now. As you were saying before, they've named me a kidnapper. A monster preying on children.
If the charges are false, I would hear it. In truth, even I've come to doubt the allegations.
And why is that, Lady Knight?
You've lost a child yourself, haven't you? I cannot imagine a parent who has endured such pain would kidnap children, much less sell them off.
Hold on. I can't trust a man who does nothing but flee. The people responsible for my home burning. Zorba, who forced the dead to fight on his behalf. Anyone who can't face reality themselves is capable of any low.
True enough. If we lived in a world where words alone proved us just, I'd not be living in this infernal cave. I'm sorry, but I won't go to the gallows before I've even honored my son's death. If you'll not leave me be, then we decide this another way.
So you're finally ready to fight us properly.
Draw steel. If I'm to take your life, I'll not do it from the shadows. But if you refuse to retreat, then ready your blades.
We'll make you talk.
Yes, we shall have...
Tis best you.
And there are some really important themes.
He's not getting away this time.
People, human beings, are
Warrior!
How disappointing!
Where'd he go?
I show no mercy!
And these others who
Stroll's forgotten everything. He can't use his skills.
I shall defend!
Be neither timid nor
Justice prevail!
They become prisoners, hostages to their own fantasy.
that all you have?
Those are
Slash!
Nice one, Captain.
What a farce!
Stroll can't take any more. Someone heal him. Stroll's forgotten everything. He can't use his skills.
Let us clean up this mess.
Fire!
I was saving this. How about this?
All these copies. I wonder if there's some way to tell them apart.
Merchant!
They were born to it. But I have a question though, I don't really know if I'm going to answer it, because it would be a spoiler, but I'm wondering what problem it has. We have a suspicion that we don't see anything. Yes, we don't see his body. It's a possibility. Could be wrong. We're thinking significant deaths in these two arcs. Marked earlier about one piece that you don't see a lot of dying. Not dying in these arcs. But anyway, I do want to make that. And 3 cheers for the one.
Didn't work.
Living.
What was that tactic?
I'll say
Am I? Stroll got knocked out. Can anyone?
I was saving this.
He's not getting away this time.
I think this last one we also a lot of insights into evolution that I didn't. And it's spawned with
How disappointing.
Where'd he go?
I have my method.
Does not ever want to be.
How about this?
Audacity! Stroll, your speed's
Serious. When he lost his brother.
Tis best you.
It is also very
getting away this time.
No holding back!
What's in the...
Nice one, Captain.
And all this makes Lucas so as he does.
Allow me to use this.
He is on a path of self-destruction. Yes.
He's not getting away this time.
Until Jingo, fulfilling
No holding back!
in the most beautiful way. Remind me what is this?
So, you saw through my illusion. Even so,
in the most beautiful
let us
way.
clean up this mess.
My favorite moment of what this is. This is everything. This
For all that we strive for! To the rear guard! Come! Burn! I shall show you what true with blade in hand!
I'll use this.
Leaving out these rocks
How
until
about this?
My strength. All these copies.
I missed them.
I wonder if there's some
As
way
much
to
as
tell
you
them
can do,
apart.
and to have them brought back,
Merchant!
flooding back in this way.
I see your
Don't
game.
get sloppy, Captain.
In the name of justice!
And another moment that made me cheer and be really character for me. An obvious mentor as well. This happy.
Tis best you.
And of course, we learned about the
Something's
That's
off.
all really
That
cool.
copy doesn't have a...
In the middle, but maybe more
Hold yourself
Is
together.
everyone a power of heroes? Too slow!
also quickly really good.
Am I?
Also had a beautiful
Slash!
These people very well each other so well.
The captain's lost his memory. He can't use any skills.
And it is also a beautiful gesture.
Don't get sloppy, Captain.
Be neither timid nor arrogant.
Warrior!
Message is good. And in this
Try not to
Trust me.
I show no mercy!
Always for the sake of their country. That is beautiful.
The captain's lost his memory. He can't use any skills.
It is that perception drives them.
Hulkenberg's lost her memory.
Wasn't my
She
task.
can't use her
And
skills like
beautiful
this.
how they all have found themselves in the right situations with the right mentors in various places that they've been dispersed to by King.
What just happened?
2 years. 2 years.
I'm counting on you.
In the warrior!
They will become strong.
Are you well?
Thanks.
Thank you.
And there are various powers that are brought in there. The dynamics are shifted.
Hulkenberg's lost her memory. She can't use her skills like this.
the new one. Yeah.
The captain's
That
lost
whole
his
body
memory.
will be
He can't use any skills.
To you.
What just happened?
Ready for impact.
With a
In the
summer,
name of
AI
justice,
teammates
I
can
shall
help people
vanquish
their
evil.
goals by connecting them to relevant processes so every team knows their role in the bigger picture. Asana,
I
the
show no
new
mercy.
data work management platform.
This should
Drive
work.
over to Asana.com.
The One Piece series has some of the biggest world building in all of fiction, and with that comes an entirely fleshed out fictional history spanning back hundreds of years in
Let us clean
incredible
up this
detail.
mess.
Ever since I started making One Piece canon in 2015, I've consistently worked within the community to create a One Piece timeline strand of all things in series, and today I present to you the definitive complete One Piece timeline, starting all the way back from before the Void Series ancient times, all the way to present day with the Sprockets. I spent hundreds of hours on this project, I'm not joking. I painstakingly tracked down every single day from the manga, but the result is the most complete One Piece timeline you will find on the internet. So sit back, relax, and enjoy a long trek through this long One Piece history list. The only thing I want to know is that you can also find a written version of this timeline with a physical graphic on my website, thelibrarybahara.com. The version is more complete, including things like all characters, birthdays, and ages, and also citations for every single one of the dates featured on this timeline. So if you're curious as to where the information about a single thing comes from, you can check exactly in which chapter as the expert handbook set information was mentioned for Oda. Also, obviously, we're only going to be tackling what is the canon of this timeline, so no filler or additional non-canon content, and we'll be avoiding any speculation or theory crafting instead of anything that is very much confirmed already. So, are you ready? Let's begin by scrolling back in time to the very beginning of the One Piece timeline. The oldest known point in the One Piece timeline is the period of time known as Grey History during what is known as the very first era. The era
How'd you
of
cast
dinosaurs.
spells without
Over
ignoring?
100 million years ago, the era of dinosaurs begins. As dinosaurs will grow, populated by many ancient species, which hunt in mostly very bizarre ways. This era lasts for over 100 million years, similar to our world, until it comes to an end as dinosaurs diminish across the planet. Though some species continue to survive. Moving much further in time and much closer to the present, we have the period known as ancient history. Around 5,000 years ago, a tree that come to be known as the tree of earthly science sprouts on what we call Golden Island. Around 4,000 years ago, Alvarna Pass is built on Sunny Island, and would serve as a historical site for the next millennium what would be the Alabasta Kingdom. Sometime well over 1,100 years ago, winged hominids called by some as angels colonized the moon and found the city on Burka. Their civilization thrives with their advanced technology. They create the race of androids known as the Karakuri of
Is Jaime
Still
really our
well over
kidnapper?
1,100 years ago, due to a lack of natural resources on the moon people leave for the planet below. Abandoning the automata when their hibernation. The three moon tribes eventually split, going to one day on the southlands of Burka, Scania, and Shandor. Going closer to the actual calendar to clarify the One world uses a calendar that is known as the Kaien Reiki, which translates to the sea circle calendar. The year zero of this calendar is 1,524 years before this world, making the post-tense take place in the year 1524 of Kaien Reiki. An older calendar called the Ten Reiki was also mentioned by Robin in Alabasta, but
Sounds to me
this
like
is the
between the
first
Guard Corps and Huntsman, one of them could be lying. Remember when we first arrived?
There is just speculation that both the Kaien Reiki and the Ten Reiki calendars use the kanji that are used for the planet's cycle and eclipses respectively. So maybe there really could be a third calendar called
Like I said, we don't make assumptions.
completing the trifecta of the
If there's anything else you
instigation
know, we're
weapons are
listening.
named after. But again, this
You're a
is all
strange
speculation,
lot.
so let's
Fine.
stick to what we actually know.
Investigate this
So
as
for
you
sake of
see fit.
reference, we will be using both of the
And if you
Kaien
think I'm
here
guilty
and
by
the
the end
number
of
of
it,
years
you're
ago
being
from the
jailed.
present time in the timeline below, so that you can easily follow along. So after the years of Kaien Reiki, 1,524 years ago, we go
What's
to
the
the
matter?
year 402
Never tied up a
of Kaien
captive
Reiki,
before?
or
Is it a rest, old
1,100
man?
years ago.
You'll
On
make a
this
better
year,
guy
according
if
to a
you're
monolith
captive.
that Ryan
Otherwise the
found,
human
the
makes
city
a
of
meal of
Shakura,
us
which
and
had been
nobody
formed by
wins.
descendants of the
Strange
people,
lot
prosperous
indeed.
on Giant Island.
And
Over 1,000 years ago, the night
my
that Nuka
God,
found
a
Tsugisha
foul-smelling one to boot.
From 1,000 years ago, the
Don't remind me.
1,000-year conflict, the conflict between the Longdam race and the Longwood race, begins and would last for an entire millennia. Sometime well before, over 900 years
Sorry,
ago, the
but
kingdom
you'll
of
have to bear with us.
Dressrosa is founded
Don't
on
mind me.
Dressrosa Island.
If the
The
charges
Quixote
prove
dynasty would
false,
eventually
we should be
arise as
clear.
its leader. Over 900 years ago, the Tontata
Still,
race sets out to
we'll have
seek
to find
find
a new
resources
head
that
to
could
be
not be
judged
found
for
in
the
their
competition.
homeland, but are
And we'll just
persecuted by
find whoever's
humans,
actually behind
edging
it
them
and have
towards
their head
extinction.
instead.
Kingdom
Let's
Quixote
contact
de
Bardner
Dressrosa
tomorrow,
offers the
but we'll keep
Tontata
quiet
land,
about
excellent
Heisman.
safety and
Can't tell if
resources
we
in
can trust the
exchange for
Guardian
labor.
yet.
The
What are we
Tontata,
gonna do
however,
with
exploited
Heisman
and
tonight?
enslaved by
You
King
can't exactly
Quixote
set him
as
up
they
at
are
the
forced
end.
into slavery.
Steady
The
on.
sport of
You're not
slaves
even
being brought to Dressrosa, in which
Fine.
this period of
Then
time, which
Eurus and
begins
I can
in
both
the
watch him
14th
tonight.
century, is
Better us
known
than risking
as
our
the
candidate,
era
I
of
suppose.
slaves. During this period of time, slaves across the world suffer
would
as
have guessed that the
tyrants
bounty hunting
called
was
the
part of this plan
devils
to
by
take the
some
throne.
amass wealth
And
and
further,
glory at the cost of the
you've a
slaves
lady of the
sleeping
knighthood
beneath
with
them.
you.
Around this general period
Not
of
to
time,
mention
around the
command
4th
of a
century,
gauntlet
pseudo
runner.
settlements begin to appear as
I
well.
sense there's
Persecuted
more
by
to the
humans, the
story.
fishermen and Roman races found Fishman Island, and the only place on the seafloor where the rays of the sun reach, being the roots of the colossal sun tree Eve. The one country is formed around the shores of the Mount Fuji volcano, and the city of Water 7 is constructed on
The
Zosenjima,
monstrous
or
child
Ship
himself,
Island.
eh?
On the year 600,
So you're not just
924
grasping
years
power.
ago, the century that will come to be
You've
known
got
as the Void
convictions.
Century
But now the
begins.
throne's
This
in
time period
anyone's
was
reach,
the
eh?
era of slaves, but suffering of slaves
Suppose
still
the king's
continues.
magic wasn't just
During
a
this period
myth.
of time,
Well,
Culinaria
hardly
race,
matters to
seemingly
an
at the
old
center
codger
of the
like me.
moonfall, thrive on top of the
No
red
telling
line,
if
the
I'll even
Sentinel
live to
Skull,
see the next
the
king
Dark
crowned.
Country, for which they commonly came to be known as
This is
gods.
all jolly
At this time
cheerful.
as well, around
And I'm to
900
be
years
stuck
ago,
between
towards
these
the
two
start
old
of the
goats
century,
the whole
a
night.
certain
Don't
immense
blame me,
kingdom
lad.
rise
You
from this period
volunteered.
with its incredibly advanced technology.
Those are
Connecting
some
many
sharp
countries
ears.
across the world,
We should
with
probably
ties to
watch
the
our
One
words
Country,
here.
Fishman Islands, the One Country, Shandora, Water 7, and many others, this kingdom is said to have been formed by many members of what would be called
Hey.
the D Clan. A colossal robot, later known by scholars as the Iron Giant, is manufactured by this immense kingdom. During this period of the Void Century, King Nerona Imu is born, and Queen Nefertari Lily, the heir of the throne of Alabasta, is also born. This is also around the first instance of the devil fruits existing in the world, rumored by legends to be the incarnations of a certain sea devil, which end up making people's dreams a reality by granting them different evolutions. Slaves and oppressed people began to idolize and pray to a fictional, cartoonish superhero called the Warrior of Liberation, Nika, as a deity, the sun god, in hopes he could somehow exist, be real, and deliver them liberation. From these dreams, Nika appears upon the world in the form of a mythical Solandal fruit, the Hippolytomoni model Nika, which is eaten by a user who awakens it, earning the nickname of Joy Boy. The mermaid princess of Fishman Island is also born and christened as Poseidon, named after a god due to her being recognized by sea kings as their king incarnate for to some unknown reason. A powerful warship is built on the island of Water 7. It is said to have been christened as well with the name of the ancient weapon Pluton, named after a god and said to be capable of wiping out an island in one blast. A weapon christened after the god Uranus also appears on the world. Alongside Pluton and Poseidon, these three ancient weapons were said to have the capability to destroy the world. The people of Fishman Island also make a promise with Joy Boy involving the colossal Ark Noah and Poseidon's powers. Around the year 668 approximately, around 156 years ago, Amatsuki Doki is born to people from the One Country abroad. Then later into the Void Century, the Void Century War takes place. A massive conflict takes place between the people of the D Clan pertaining to the event's immense kingdom against an alliance of 20 human kings. The alliance includes King Nerona Imu, Queen of Alabasta Nefertari Lily, who, unbeknownst to her allies, was in fact secretly a D Clan member, King of Dressrosa Don Quixote, and rulers of Figuerland Jay Garcia, Marcus Stockman, Ethan Barron, Shepard, Man Mayer, among 10 other rulers. The immense kingdom simply realizes that they are approaching defeat, so they decide to execute a plan to preserve their ideals. With their allies, the Koski clan, they guard information about the kingdom onto indestructible stones. 9 Rio poneglyphs detailing the true history, among a total of 30 stones are crafted. The Choibo user dies and the Hitoitononi Modal Nika is reborn. It begins to use its will as its own fruit to run away from its enemies for the next 800 years in the hope of someday finding a new user once the ancient weapons are reborn. The Allied powers condemned the Buccaneer race due to an action they consider to be a cardinal sin related to the desire of wanting to become Nika. Over the next centuries, they would enslave and persecute them to near extinction for this so-called crime. A prophecy or belief emerges that someday a new Choibo user will appear who will guide weapons such as Poseidon and change the world for good, by following the instructions and ideals left behind carved on the poneglyphs. This day of change is also referred to by some as the dawn of the world, or the day the world will be turned upside down. Thanks to the help of Nefertari Lily, the poneglyphs are scattered across the world. Emo believes this to be a mistake by Lily, unaware that she is a D-Clan member. But shortly after this event, Lily mysteriously vanishes. Lily's little brother takes the now vacant throne of Alabasta, but is left with a letter from his sister asking to protect the poneglyph the country was entrusted, leading future generations of the royal family to protect the stone in secret in the name of the Dawn. The promise between Joy Boy and the people of Fishman Island cannot be maintained. The people of the island promise to protect the Ark Noah so that their promise may be fulfilled someday once the day of promise arrives and a new Joy Boy will come to guide a new Poseidon, and are entrusted a royal poneglyph alongside a poneglyph detailing an apology for breaking the promise. The Koski clan closes the borders of Wano from the rest of the world to protect themselves, their poneglyphs, and the ancient weapon Pluton hidden beneath their land from the external power of the government, awaiting the day a Joy Boy would return. This closing of borders is very literal, as colossal walls are erected around the country to protect it. This results in the country slowly flooding over the following ages due to these walls, forcing constant relocations of its citizens higher up Mount Fuji. Zunisha, who had been a comrade of Joy Boy, had committed a certain grave crime. For this, it is punished to walk the seas until a new Joy Boy can appear on top of the world, to then help open the borders of the Wano country with its new commander. The Mink isolate themselves on the back of the giant Tunisia and can contact with humans to protect one of the royal poneglyphs, wait for the day the dawn of the world comes. The shipwright designer of the battleship Pluton decides to hide its blueprints and pass them down across the generations, should the need arise to build a second Pluton to counter an ancient weapon falling in evil hands. Around 694 or around 130 years ago, Amaskitoki uses the power of her Del fruit, the Tokitoki no Mi, to live 800 years into the future, hoping to see with her own eyes the day someone arises to fulfill the hopes of her people to turn the world upside down. In the downfall of Shandora, Shandora is given a poneglyph with details about Poseidon. The Allied powers attempt to steal this poneglyph, instigating a brutal conflict that results in the downfall of Shandora and the deaths of many of its people. Nonetheless, even in spite of their losses, the people of Shandora are successfully protecting the stone, and the Allied powers are forced to retreat. A golden bell is erected around the stone to signify the pride of the people. However, inevitably, the 20 Allied kingdoms emerge victorious in the Void-centric conflict, and the Enhanced Kingdom is defeated. The final island of the Grand Line that the road poneglyphs point to, one day later dubbed as the Laugh Tale, is left completely abandoned. On the island is left a certain treasure relating some form to Joy Boy that will one day come to be known as the One Piece. On the year 700 or 824 years ago, the century would come to be known as the Void Century ends, as the Celestial Dragons come to establish a new order in a historical moment that would come to be known as the creation of the world. In the World Government Foundation, the 19 remaining kings, given Lilith's disappearance, found the world capital of Marishla on top of the Red Line in place of the god country Polinaria. The 19 kings leave their countries and sent to Marishla to become celestial dragons, rewriting history as the gods that have created a new world. Together they found the World Government, an organization of allied countries that controls and rules over the entire world. Afraid of the ideals of the D-Clan, the government opts to erase all information and historical records of the past century, resulting in the century of the 600s becoming known as the Void Century, for very few records of it remain. In the Empty Throne Pledge, an empty throne is built within Pandia Castle at Marishwa, where the 19 kings, who have vanished, pledge their souls to never desire that power as their own. This is in truth a ruse to deceive the world, as King Neronainu takes the throne to become the king of the world, believed to have attained perennial youth thanks to the powers of the Obi-Obi-no-Mi, but opts to vanish from public eye so that none are aware of the devil that rules the world. This marks the beginning of the rule of the world government for the next 800 years. Also around 800 years ago, Enies Lobby is founded where a hole seemingly left behind by an ancient weapon to serve as the government's judiciary island. The Cipher Police is established as the government's secret police force. CP9 is stationed at Enies Lobby, protecting the island for the next 8 centuries. Likely following the effect of the hole left behind by the ancient weapon Enies Lobby was built upon, sea levels rise around the nearby Water 7, causing the island to begin to slowly sink over the next centuries. This would result in the citizens erecting new buildings on top of the older town over time to adapt to the sinking island, turning Water 7 into the capital of water. Also around 800 years ago, with the throne of Dressrosa empty after King Don Quixote ascended to Marishwa, the Riku family raises up as the new rulers of the country. Having discovered the atrocities that Don Quixote clan did to the Tontata, King Riku I prostrates to the Toltec technology and offers them an opportunity to live in harmony. This gives start to an 800-year-long era of peace for Dressrosa, where its citizens live together with the country's fairies. In an undefined period of several centuries ago, the Emperor of Amazon Lily on Yogashima, Woman Island, closes its borders for men for centuries to come to protect itself. Given the pattern of the other kingdoms closing their borders, this is likely around this time. Also some nondescript centuries ago, the Wano country is assailed by various forces, including the world government. The country is assailed by a colossal dragon, but the samurai Shimotsuki Ryuma slays it over the skies of the flower capital. This scares off the government and other forces from attacking the country, and Ryuma comes to be known as the Blade God, worshipped and enshrined after his death alongside his sword Shusui as a national treasure for his incredible talent. Around 700 years ago, under orders from celestial dragons, a massive bridge is ordered to be built in East Blue through the workforce of slaves. Construction of this bridge would continue for the next 7 centuries, becoming known as the Bridge Country of Tequila Wolf. Around 659 years ago, the ancient giant Ors is born. And around 500 years ago, Ors terrorizes the world as the country puller, said to have founded a country of ruffians that he helped build by stealing the very islands he ransacked and dragging them across the seas, which earned him his epithet. His infamy was so haunting that some even believed him to be the devil incarnate once more. However, in that same century, around 500 years ago, Ors gets lost in the Ice Country and ultimately succumbs and dies of frostbite, putting an end to his rule. 462 years ago, the tree fever plague, a disease with a 90% death rate that infects trees and people, spreads and ends up killing around 100,000 people, afflicting the Lineal Kingdom in the process. Over the next years, 8 botanists from South Pole find secured the tree fever during an exploration, putting an end to the spreading plague. 404 years ago, explorer Noland is granted permission to leave Livneal for the Grand Line in a short month-long run. Nolan leaves the country of Vera, and later in the day he meets a merchant that sells him a lost Skypian vehicle known as a Waver. Then, between 404 and 402 years ago, Nolan enters the Grand Line a second time in another short month-long run. And finally, 402 years ago, Nolan enters the Grand Line for the 3rd time, this time embarking on a longer journey. Nolan lands on Green Bay, protecting the Tontata from some humans and befriending the tribe, and on May the 12th, Nolan lands on Jaya and interrupts a sacrifice ritual intended to stop the spread of a local tree fever, slaying the snake deity Kashigan in the process and earning him the ire of the Shandia. On the next day, May the 13th, after much skepticism, Nolan convinces the Shandia that he can cure them and befriends the tribe, saving it in the process. On May the 22nd, having formed a bond of friendship, Calcutta shows Nolan the city of Shandora and its golden belfry housing the poneglyph, which fascinates Nolan. Around June, to protect the island from tree fever, Nolan cuts down the sacred trees of the Shandia. Unaware of his actions to save them, the Shandia take this as an offense towards Nolan. The explorer and his crew leave Jaya, but they manage to make amends with Algar and the tribe, promising to one day meet again. Nolan returns to Linneo from his voyage and tells his king about the city of gold that he found. 4 years later, 398 years ago, the gigantic geyser Nakab Stream erupts below Jaya and pushes half of the island into the sky, landing next to the sky island Skypea. The local people of Skypea invade the island to take possession of the earth there, a rare material in the sky, while the Shandia make a stand to protect their country and their poneglyph, sparking the start of the 400-year-long Sky War. 397 years ago, finally given clearance by Manijua to re-enter the Grand Line, Nolan departs from Livneal with his king to reach Jaya once again, but the journey proves treacherous due to the incompetence of the king's men. On November the 16th, Nolan, the king, and a few surviving soldiers make it to Jaya, but don't find Shantora, as if the island was shot up into the sky. The king believes Nolan duped him all along and sentences him to death. On May of the next year, 396 years ago, Mongol Nolan is brought back to Livneal and is executed on charges of lying about the City of Gold, unable to prove the truth. The tale of his life would become famous to North Blue's future generations as the tale of Liar Nolan. Around 300 years ago, in the wake of a dream of 66 days, the German kingdom becomes a nomad country unable to set foot on their homeland. 210 years ago, the same Briss ship departs from the Briss kingdom in South Blue. Some years later, around 102 years ago, the same Briss reaches Skypea, but is sentenced to cloud drifting, left stranded to starve on a cloud. Around 200 years ago, Green Bay becomes inaccessible to the people of Dressrosa due to a school of fighting fish moving by the bridge, making passage too dangerous. Around 200 years ago as well, the Iron Giant incident takes place. The Iron Giant, manufactured in the 7th century by the people of the late century, suddenly attacks Mary Joie, but runs out of power before it can cause any damages. The government asks for it to be disposed of, but scientists, baffled by its advanced technology, hide it away to study its mysterious power source. Exactly 200 years ago, the 1324 Reverie takes place. The Ryugu Kingdom attends the 1324 Reverie in a peace treaty between their species to join the world government. Fishmen are legally treated as normal people again, but even so, discrimination remains rampant across the entire world. For the next 2 centuries, the Ryugu Kingdom would avoid participating in future reveries. Also 200 years ago, the weapons store arms shop is opened in Locktown. Around 100 years ago, the properties of amber lead and its poisonous effect on the body by those who come in contact with it are discovered by the government, financing the North Pole amasses great profit and wealth through developing an amber lead industry. While the government has been aware of the wine lead's dangers, they keep this a secret from the country's citizens to continue profiting off its wealth, slowly poisoning its citizens due to exposure. Then, over 100 years ago, the giant warrior pirates storm and terrorize the world with their mighty strength. Also, over 100 years ago, Morley is captured and imprisoned in Impel Down. Using the powers of the Osio Shinobi, she manages to create level 5.5 and break out of the prison without anyone ever figuring out. Also, over 100 years ago, the disease-carrying tick Castia, the one that poisoned Nami during Trauma Island, is believed to have gone extinct, though unknown to biologists, some rare specimens have survived in select locations. 113 years ago, the nun Carmel begins trafficking children as the orphan seller Mountain Hat. 102 years ago, Dory and Broggy, captains of the giant warrior pirates, have a falling out from a hunting contest, designed to begin a duel on a prehistoric island for the right to return home to Elbaf. This results in the disbandment of the giant warrior pirates as their duel drags on over for the next century. 100 years ago, the remnants of the giant warrior pirates are captured by the Marines. However, during their execution at Marineford, the nun Carmel threats the Marines to spare them in the name of peace and to avoid further conflict. As light shines from the heavens, the Marines are pressured to letting the giants go. This was in reality a staged act planned by Sapphiropol to infiltrate the now Mother Carmel into Elbaf to found the House of Lamps, which would serve as her base for child trafficking. 82 years ago, the Burgan Haidas begins to study and research weather and meteorology. 81 years ago, the coastal clan of the Mono country is left without heir, resulting in a struggle for succession among the daimyo ruling the country's regions. Daimyo Kurozumi poisons his rivals, managing to become the only remaining candidate. However, on May 19th, Kosuke Sukiyaki was born as the heir of the Kosuke clan, thwarting the Kurozumi's plan. His plot exposed, Daimyo Kurozumi is forced to commit seppuku, and his clan is persecuted for years to come. 77 years ago, Goldie Roger is born in Lockdown and would struggle over a difficult childhood. Eventually, as a young man, he would recruit Silvus Really to start his own pirate crew. 67 years ago, Harada finishes the construction of the artificial Sky Island, Valeria. 63 years ago, considered a trouble came to her size and brave behavior, Charlotte Linlin is abandoned in Elbaf, in hopes that Mother Carmel will be able to take care of her. That same year, during December, Elbaf's solstice fast begins. Across the next days, Linlin struggles to endure the fast. And on the 7th day of the solstice fast, driven by her Hamburger Samla, Linlin goes on a hunger pang and destroys the Southland on Elbaf, killing Yorol in the process. Carmel manages to save the village thanks to her powers by giving birth to the Holy Pandora and pleads to spare Linlin. The giants hold a deep grudge towards Linlin, but they accept to let Mother Carmel go and help her relocate her House of Lambs to another island. 62 years ago, on February 15th, during Linlin's 6th birthday, Linlin loses control and ends up devouring all the children of the House of Lambs, including Mother Carmel. During that instance, Carmel's Soda powers are transferred to Linlin. However, in her delirium, Linlin would remain oblivious to the truth for the rest of her life, wondering why Carmel and all her friends suddenly disappeared. A young pirate destroys and encounters the lost Linlin and offers to team up, giving start to what would become the Big Mom Pirates. 59 years ago, Kosuke Oden is born as the heir to Shogun Sukiyaki of the Mono country. Ironically, that same year, Kaido would also be born and grow up as a child soldier in the Vodka Kingdom. 56 years ago, Garp, Sengoku, and Suru, who would become legends of marine history, joined the Marines. 55 years ago, Shimotsuki Kozaburo crafts the Wally, Chimonji, and Emma, the latter a present for 4-year-old Oden. A group of 25 people, including Shimotsuki Kozaburo and Shimotsuki Furuko, would then lead Wano on a journey. 54 years ago, Kurozumi Orochi is born but lives a life of persecution due to being the grandson of Daimyo Kurozumi, persecuted for his grandfather's failed coup. 52 years ago, the pirate Goldie Roger becomes known as a famous rookie. That same year, Oimo and Gashi are tricked by the world government to become gatekeepers for Enies lobby to supposedly free Dorian Broggy from being hostages. This is all lied by the government to deceive the global giants into protecting the Judiciary Island. Also that year, the Rumber Pirates enter the Grand Line and are followed by the whale Laboon. After 3 months at the Twin Capes, the Rumber Pirates depart for the Grand Line. They part ways with Laboon but promise to meet again one day in the future. The captain of the Rumber Pirates, Yorkie, is later affected with a disease and is forced to down to leave the Grand Line via the Calm Valve. Brooke becomes the captain of the Rumber Pirates instead and receives his first 33 million bounty. The Rumber Pirates are then foully wounded in a clash against another crew in the Florian Triangle. They decide to record their final concert on the Tom Dial and are all killed by their wounds. Among the dead Rumber Pirates, Brooke's soul returns to life thanks to the powers of his Yomi powers, but struggles to find his body and wanders around the Florian Triangle for quite a while. At the same time, the group of 25 people that left Wano defeats a group of pirates in a village in East Blue. In this place, they found Shimoshi village, together with the locals, and around 10 of them stay behind to live there. 51 years ago, after searching for his body for a year, Brooke's soul finally locates it and re-enters it, returning to life. Our Brooke finds himself stranded on his ship in the Florian Triangle, unable to live it in any form. 47 years ago, a 4-year-old genie becomes a slave. 46 years ago, at age 2, Charlotte Katakuri eats donuts for the first time and becomes enamored with them. 46 years ago, at age 13, Kaido is sold off to the government by his kingdom to earn the right to join the Reverie. 45 years ago, the flower capital of the Wano country is afflicted by a drought. Now, the drought at age 14 was killed and redirects a river to the capital, but accidentally floods it in the process and earns another arrest warrant. He attempts to escape the country, but fails. At age 3, Katakuri eats too many donuts and, once tearing apart the sides of his face and leaving a scar on both sides of his cheeks. Over 44 years ago, around the year 1480, Rock's Digibank and the pirate crew he managed to assemble on Hachinosu Island terrorized the world, marking this period of time as the Era of Rocks. That same year, Edward Newgate convinces Kaido, age 15, to join the Rocks Pirates. There, Kaido first meets Charlotte McLean, now known as the infamous pirate Big Mom. 44 years ago as well, the Harem War takes place. At age 15, Odin threatens the priest of a mountain temple to shelter him, and begins his own harem there. Despite having attained his lovers consensually, Honest Harem serves the honor of his lovers' relatives, giving start to the Harem War of the Wano country. 43 years ago, Kuma and his family are enslaved by the Celestial Dragons due to their buccaneer heritage after a blood test from his birth leaks. Kuma would lose with his mother and father over the next 4 years as a slave in Morish Wano. At age 5, Katakuri eats the Mochi Mochi no Mi. 42 years ago, a group of villagers flee to the Organ Archipelago after their old settlement was destroyed by pirates. There they decide to found Orange Town together from scratch. That same year, the pirate Shapiaku gives up her pirate life and opens Shiseki's rip-off bar at the Sabari Archipelago. Skypiea dweller Marilyn also wins the Miss Skypiea title, though you probably forgot who this character is. Around 41 years ago, Kurozuki Higurashi returns to the Wano country after spending some time abroad involved with the Bronx, and inducts Orochi to a plan to take over the country, feeding him the Heavy Binomi mythical model Yamakan Orochi. That same year, the Mountain God incident takes place. Kinemon accidentally lures a giant boar known as the Mountain God into the flower capital of the Wano country. However, thanks to Odin's efforts, no one is killed during the incident, but is exiled from the capital after he covers up for Kinemon. Kinemon and Danger decide to become Odin's first followers. Odin spends some time with Shimotsuki Yasuye before deciding to explore the rest of Wano. In the meantime, Orochi steals money from Yasuye, acting as his servant. Around 40 years ago, Kanjuro's parents are killed on stage for being Kurezumi. Heartbroken Kanjuro is rescued by Orochi, who asks him to become a spy by following Odin, feeding him the Fude Fude no Mi. Izu and Kiku become homeless after the father is arrested, forced to survive as entertainers in the streets of Ringo. They are soon found and taken in by Odin. Kanjuro joins Odin's boss after a chance encounter, though in truth he is infiltrating on Orochi's orders to keep an eye on Odin's actions. Ninja Raizo have left the Oniwamatsu after being rejected by Kunoichi and living isolated in Udo, also joins Odin's crew. 39 years ago, the Roger Pirates have a run-in with the Rocks Pirates. The Roger Pirates also reach the island of Lone Star, the final point of the Grand Line at the end of the log pose, being the first to reach it in centuries. However, they realize that yet another fallen island remains and continue their journey to complete their circumnavigation of the world. That same year, Odin enters Kuri and defeats all its ruffians and their ringleader Ashuradoji. He makes a pledge to help restore the region back to prosperity. Ashuradoji joins Odin as his follower. After helping restore Kuri into a prosperous region, Odin is granted the title of Daimyo by his father, the Shogun. His followers are officially recognized as his vassals. Around 38 years ago, a young Morgans establishes the World Economic Newspaper, distributing news across the world through the News Blue system. The Celestial Dragons also steal the treasure of Hachinosu, seemingly being a certain down fruit, and bring it towards God Valley for their upcoming tournament. Then, 38 years ago, the Celestial Dragons hold their triennial genocide tournament on the island of God Valley. Whom attempts to flee slavery on the island, but ends up meeting Ivankov and Ginny for the first time, who team up with him. Ginny links the location of the treasure of the Celestial Dragons stole from rocks, being on the island in communication, in hopes that the pirates come after it and cause a distraction for them to escape. Then takes place the famous God Valley incident. The Rocks pirates invade God Valley as the Celestial Dragons are holding their genocide tournament to seize the treasure the government took from them. But so do the Roger pirates and several other groups. In a historical duel, Monkey D. Garb and Goldie Roger team up to clash against the Rocks pirates. Big Mom successfully takes the Uo Serio from the government, who she feeds to Kaido, while Kuma eats the Nikki Nikinomi and helps up to 500 people escape. Roxy Shibek himself allegedly dies, and the island of God Valley vanishes from the map, so the Rocks pirates disband as a result. As Roger escapes the island, he finds a baby Figureland Shanks in a treasure chest and decides to raise him as his own. With the conclusion of the God Valley incident, the era of the Rocks ends and the era of Roger begins on 1486, 38 years ago, marked by Roger's rise to power over the next 14 years. Monkey D. Garp is given all credit for the defeat of the Rocks pirates in the newspapers, and thus comes to be known as the hero of the Marines. Most details of the incident and the Rocks are, however, kept hidden by the government due to Shibek's taboo interest in becoming the king of the world. Having escaped the God Valley incident, Kuma returns to the Sorbet Kingdom with Ivankov and Ginny, and Ivankov parts way with the two as Kuma and Ginny grow up together in Sorbet. That same year, Sherlock Relay is injured and scarred by a gang that Karakuri had stirred trouble with after they mocked him for his mouth, so he decides to take revenge on them and vows to never show his mouth to someone else ever again. Between 38 to 24 years ago, Dufeld founds Mats, a wandering clandestine lab researching without limits in the supposed name of peace. Its team is comprised by Vegapunk, Caesar, Judge, Queen, and Buckingham Stussy, the latter freeloading after the dissolution of the Rocks and serving as the first subject of a cloning experiment, resulting in the first successful Mats clone number 1, Stussy. Dr. Vegapunk later wins the Nobel Peace Prize and gets to meet the 5 Hollow Planets. Sometime after, the government disbands Mats and reintegrates them into a research unit working for the government. Vegapunk and Caesar join this unit, while Judge and Queen flee, with Judge continuing research in his nomad German kingdom. 37 years ago, Hero begins his research to make Sakura blossom in his home country of the Drum Kingdom after being miraculously cured of his terminal disease by seeing a forest of sacred trees atop a certain mountain in the west. 33 years ago, the remnants of the Rocks pirates begin growing their own crews and expanding their claims and infamy. In Wano, Inuarashi and Komamushi shipwreck on the shores after setting sail from Seoul. They are captured alongside Kawamatsu, but Odin rescues them all and allows them to join him as retainers. After a failed attempt to steal money from Hakumai, Odin's retainers are captured by Daimyo Yasuye, but the latter offers them the money, encouraging them to educate themselves and become retainers worthy of someone like Odin. The Celestial Dragon Don Quixote Humming of that same year decides to renounce his status to live alongside humans and migrates with his wife and children to an island in the north. However, the citizens take their rage against the Celestial Dragons onto Humming's family, forcing them to live a runaway life of poverty, unable to return to Marijua, as Humming realizes how naive he was. Due to the poor conditions of the runaway life, Humming's wife becomes ill and passes away of sickness. Over 32 years ago, Cauliflan enters the Grand Line from the South Blue with his parents who are pirates. That same year, 32 years ago, a 26-year-old Sakazuki and 23-year-old Borsellino join the Marines. 31 years ago, a small criminal gang led by Treble, including Bika, Diamante, and Corazon and Virgo, meet Doflamingo. Impressed by Doflamingo's skill with Conqueror's Haki, Treble bestows upon him a gun and the Ito Itonomi, claiming he is destined to become the king of the sea. Doflamingo uses the gun Treble gave him to commit patricide and kill his father, Don Quixote Homie. He tries to use his father's murder as a way to get back to Marijua, but is rejected by the Celestial Dragons once again. During this process, he and his brother Rocinante are forced to split ways. The Flamingo will return to Treble, where Rocinante would end up being adopted by Sengoku. 30 years ago, Monkey D. Garp and Chinjao clash, resulting in Garp flattening Chinjao's famous drill-shaped head, which makes the latter lose access to the treasure hidden behind the Jewel Eye Sheet, which could only be opened by his drill head. Chinjao swears revenge on Garp's family in turn. From this historic clash, Garp earns another epithet of Garp the Fist. Later that year, a 19-year-old Kuzan joins the Marines and eventually ends up at...
I'm Philomena, founder of Kin Apparel. I love my natural hair, but not what hoodies and hats were doing to it. So I made my own satin-lined hoodies and created a business in the process. I got big dreams, and Chase from Business in Philly was like, all right, how do we get you there?
Get financial guidance from makers in your community.
Really digital tools all in one place. Learn more at chasingbusiness.com. Make more sports. Great customer service in JP Morgan Chase Bank and American Gas. Asgard's protege. Anna's retainers in Wano, having now become proper samurai, accompany Odin as he visits his secret father at the flower capital for one last time. The Whitebeard pirates end up shipwrecking on Wano, and Newgate meets Odin for the first time. Odin begs Whitebeard to let him on his crew, but despite refusing at first, in the end, Newgate accepts Odin into the crew after testing him during his departure from the country. Amatsudoki, who lived from 800 years in the past, also meets Bossy Odin at sea and joins in with the Whitebeard pirates. Meanwhile, in the Sorbet Kingdom, King Bakori rises as the ruler following King Bulldog. To appease the celestial dragons and pay celestial tribute, he enforces several policies that cause suffering to his populace. 29 years ago, a Dressrosa slum kid by the name of Kyros loses his friend to murder, so he kills the two culprits in retaliation. He is arrested by the army and sent to fight at the Corrida Coliseum as punishment. Just 4 months after being arrested, Kyros earns 100 victories at Coliseum, earning his freedom. However, he decides to remain in the Coliseum to fight. 28 years ago, Goldie Roger finds out he has a terminal disease and little longer to live. He enters the Grand Line once again in hopes of accomplishing his dream, the complete circumnavigation of the world by finding the final island. At the Twin Caves, he meets the expert Dr. Crocus, who manages to stabilize his disease and joins his crew to help him complete his journey. The same year, Nico Olvia joins an archaeologist research group to go search for poneglyphs and discover the true history. Because of this, she has to leave behind her daughter Robin and care for her brother and sister-in-law, who become neglectful and abusive towards Robin over the years. After Momonosuke's birth, Whitebeard decides to organize his crew into divisions. Odin is promoted to 2nd Division Commander, and a seemingly orphaned Marshal Peach begs Whitebeard to let him join his crew. He secretly takes advantage of Whitebeard's travels and influence to search for the Yami Yami no Mi. Meanwhile, Kurozumi Higurashi approaches Kaido and offers him to take over the Wano country by teaming up with Orochi. In the Wano country, Shogun Sukiyaki is kidnapped and secretly imprisoned by Orochi, who thanks to Kurozumi Higurashi and her powers of the Mani Mani no Mi, manages to convince the country that Sukiyaki appointed Orochi as a proxy shogun until Odin's return. This is just a step toward the Kurozumi's plan to seize control of the country. Also this year, Heracles set sails alongside other botanists to learn more about the plants. 27 years ago, Roger enters the New World once again in search for the remaining poneglyphs. The Battle of Ed War takes place as the Roger pirates square off against the fleet of Shiki the Golden Lion in the Sea of Ed War. But suddenly, a storm results in the disastrous defeat for Shiki's fleet, with Shiki himself ending up with a steering wheel encrusted into his skull while Roger miraculously escapes. 26 years ago, Neptune becomes the king of the Rigo Kingdom. Arlong's supposed father leaves 3-year-old Shirley in her 15-year-old half-brother's care, and Kyros achieves a record 1,000 victories in the Corrida Coliseum. Having fully seized control of the nation, Orochi teams up with Kaido to build weapon factories in Wano, which begin exporting weapons to the rest of the world for profit. The Roger pirates and the Whitebeard pirates clash for 3 days on a certain island. On the 4th day, Roger manages to convince Odin to join him in helping him decipher the remaining poneglyphs, embarking on a new journey. The Roger pirates make it to Skypiea, where they'll give the last poneglyph of Shandora, detailing the location of the ancient weapon Poseidon. Roger has Odin carve an inscription on the belfry marking his passage there, and on the island, Roger befriends the god Genfall, whilst in the sand from the island. A 10-year-old Cauliflam is tossed overboard from the ship by his pirate parents after being too much to deal with, and ends up shipwrecking at Water 7. The Roger pirates pass on that moment by Water 7, where Roger meets with Tom for a final time. Odin meets with an abandoned Cauliflam and invites him to join the crew, but is turned down after the kid's disdain for his pirate parents. As the Roger pirates leave Water 7, Tom encounters a young Cauliflam on the scrap island of Water 7, and the kid requests him to take him in, to which Tom accepts. The Roger pirates then reach the Sabari archipelago again and make for Fishman Island. On the way there, Roger and Odin overhear Sea Kings through the voice of all things, who are talking about the meeting of 2 kings to come in the near future. The Roger pirates then make it to Fishman Island and discover another road poneglyph alongside the poneglyph recording the apology related to Joey Boy. Shirley foresees the birth of the next Mermaid Princess 10 years from then after Roger asks her. Then the Roger pirates reach Wano, attaining yet another road poneglyph. Tokyo is falling ill from exhaustion, stays at Wano with her children and retainers, while Odin continues his journey with the Roger pirates, despite his retainers begging him to help them save their country. Finally, the Roger pirates reach Zou, locating their final road poneglyph. A young Pedro asks Roger to take him with him, but Roger tells him to wait his turn. Also this year, Big Mom's twice second and 23rd daughters, Charlotte, Lol, and Chiffon, are born to her and Pound. Being mom divorces and exiles found after their birth, as she has no more use for him. Then, at last, 25 years ago, the Roger pirates become the first people to reach the very final island of the Grand Line for the first time in 8 centuries, and the first to witness a treasure relating to Joy Boy, bringing them to laughter upon seeing it. Having learned much about the true history, as well as witnessing Joy Boy's laugh tale, Roger decides to aptly name the final island Laugh Tale. News of the Roger Pirates' achievements spread across the world, and Roger becomes known as the Pirate King, with many in the world wanting to find the treasure Roger left behind, which they call the One Piece. Roger realizes that he was born too early, as the ancient weapons were not born yet upon the world, and believes someday a new Joy Boy will arise and surpass him. With his dream complete, Roger disbands the Roger Pirates and bids them farewell. As Roger parts disband, Oden returns to Wano and learns Orochi's rise to power. Orochi blackmails Oden with the lives of the citizens, forcing him to dance naked like a fool across the streets of Wano for the next 5 years to humiliate him. Oden complies to save the lives of as many citizens as possible. Monkey D. Dragon, who had abandoned the Marines and had formed the Freedom Fighters, who lead protests across the world, becomes a wanted man. Genie proposes to Kuma, but Kuma turns her down out of fear of her following the Freedom's father. The Fishman Island shortly foresees a great pirate era in the following year, and Heracles reaches the Boyne Archipelago alongside other researchers and begins to study the flora there. On the year 1500, 24 years ago, around April, Roger leaves his lover Portegas de Rouge pregnant with a child. And by September, with his health now critical, he gives himself in to the Marines and is said to be executed at his birthplace of Logtown. During his imprisonment, he asks Garp to take care of his unborn son. Learning of Roger's execution, Shiki goes around on a mad rampage in Marineford just 1 week before Roger is executed. He is stopped by the efforts of Garp and Sengoku and is arrested and sent to Impel Down. Wealth, fame, power. The man who attained everything in this world, Pirate King Goldie Roger, is executed at Lockdown on September of this year. With his final words, he encourages people to go search for the One Piece treasure, laying to a booming piracy that marks this moment as the end of Roger's era and the beginning of the Great Pirate Era. This era would also come to be known by some with the name of Whitebeard's Era. Several figures that would leave their mark in the future attend Roger's execution, including the likes of Crocodile, the Flamingo, Moria, Mihawk, Dragon, Shanks, and Buggy. After the conclusion of Roger's execution, Shanks and Buggy have a falling out, as Shanks declares to not be interested in going after the One Piece for a while due to some reason. Buggy feels betrayed after having admired Shanks for so long that he refuses to join his crew and runs away. Oden learns through a newspaper about Roger's death, shedding tears over the grand death of his great friend. The shipwright Tom is also tried and sentenced to death for the building of Roger's ship, the Oro Jackson. Or he is given 10 years of extension to complete his vision of the sea train, as he promises his creation will help save Water 7's economy. Furthermore, that same year, Heracles' fellow researchers are all killed by the dangers of the Boyne Archipelago, forcing him to continue his research on his own alone. The next year, 1501, 23 years ago, pirate rookie Gecko Moria clashes against Emperor Kaido in the Wano country. Kaido ultimately emerges victorious and kills most of Moria's crew, but Moria manages to escape. During this event, Moria desecrates Ryuma's grave in the Ringo region of Wano and steals his corpse and his blade, Shusu. Then the next year, 1502 or 22 years ago, on January 1st, Goldie Ace is born as the child of the late Goldie Roger and Portegas de Rouge. His mother, who kept Ace in her womb for 20 months to avoid detection by the Marines, dies shortly after delivery, and thus Ace is taken in by Monkey D. Garp, as requested to him by Roger. Busy with his duties, though, Garp leaves Ace in the car of his mountain bandit friend, the Dadan, at Dawn Island, and Ace takes the family name Portegas to hide his heritage. That same year, Sybil's Rayleigh is saved after becoming lost at sea by the young fisherman Hachin. Nico Robin is officially made a scholar of Ohara at the young age of 8, and Vice Admiral Jaggerty Saul, after helping Nicolia break free from prison, washes up on the shores of Ohara and befriends the young Robin. From this, the Ohara incident follows. The 5 Elder Planets summon a bus for Gold Ohara after they discover that the scholars there have been researching the poneglyphs. Professor Clover, Nico Olvia, and all the scholars of Ohara are killed as the island is burned to the ground, while Vice Admiral Sakazuki also kills all the island's citizens to ensure that none escape. However, thanks to the efforts of the scholars, many of the library's books are saved, and a young Nico Robin manages to flee the island, beginning a runaway life as she is hunted by the government and hated by the world. Saul sacrifices himself so that Robin can run away, but Kuzan secretly saves Saul's life, letting him run away into hiding. That same year, Shanks recruits Yasop to join the school after hearing of a talented sniper in the Gecko Islands. Mary draws the plan to build the Going Mary, hoping to build a ship someday, and searching Rare Animal Island for treasure, Pirate Gaimon accidentally gets stuck inside an empty treasure chest and is left behind by his crew, leaving him stranded on the island. Shika's escape also takes place, as Shika escapes Impel Down, becoming its first publicly known escapee. He sets up base at the Merville Archipelago and devises a plan to conquer the world that would take him around 20 years. A few months after the Ohara incident that same year, Dr. Vegapunk and Monkey D. Dragon meet at Ohara holding a brief funeral for the victims of the incident, as Dragon vows to change the world. Under the guidance of Jaguar Soul, several giants transfer all the books that survived the incident to Albaf to preserve the knowledge of Ohara. Soul goes into hiding at Albaf alongside the Preserved Library. King Megori passes a law that annexes half of his Sorbet kingdom, turning the island's southern side into a lawless area to be exploited for the sake of celestial tribute. The Freedom Fighters help liberate the country and overturn the law, resulting in Kuma and Genie joining the Freedom Fighters. This leads into the Revolutionary Army's founding. Monkey D. Dragon, who had been operating so far as the captain of the peaceful protesters, the Freedom Fighters, founds the Revolutionary Army alongside Ivankov and Kuma. At some point in the next 8 years, Monkey D. Dragon would also get into two-power space. Around 21 years ago, Crocodile becomes one of the Seven Sea Warlords and clashes against the Emperor Whitebeard, suffering a bitter defeat. Beanstalk judges his upcoming quadruplets genetically modified to become powerful and emotionless soldiers, but his wife Sora takes some medicine to avert that process, heavily poisoning her body. The four princes of the German kingdom, Beanstalk, Ichiji, Niji, Sanji, and Yonji, are born on March 2nd as quadruplets to Beanstalk, Judge, and Sora. Sora's medicine only has an effect on Sanji, who becomes the only one of them to remain human with emotions. This same year, Roronoa Zoro is born in Shimotsuki village as the child of Roronoa Arashi, descendant of the Shimotsuki line, and Pera, the daughter of bandits. Over 20 years ago, Whitebeard arrives at Fishman Island, which had been swarmed with pirates during the Great Pirate Era, and makes it his territory to protect it from pirate attacks. 20 years ago, Kyrus wins his 3,000th battle at the Kurita Coliseum. King Riku offers him to lead the Coliseum and become captain of the Royal Army. The Wano country's flower capital, Yakuza boss Hyogoro, is taken prisoner by Kaido. 16 of his men, as well as his wife, are killed in the process. Oden realizes he has been tricked by Orochi and decides to march to Onigashima with his vassals to take down Kaido. Marching in the sunset, Oden's vassals would come to be known from this moment as the Nine Bad Scabbards. Kanjuro, however, leaves the plan to Kaido, who ambushes Oden on the mainland. The two clash, and Oden manages to scar Kaido for the first time, but due to the interference of Higurashi, Kaido ends up winning the duel. Kurosumi Higurashi is executed by Kaido for interfering in his duel with Oden, leading into the Hour of Legends. A few days after his clash with Kaido, the imprisoned Kosuke Oden is said to be executed by being burned alive, but manages to survive an entire hour inside the boiling pot without letting his vassals burn in it by holding all of them over his head. Kaido executes Oden directly, but the samurai entrusts them with his dream of opening the borders of the Wano country to all of his vassals, who manage to run away. Witnessing Oden's legendary execution, Yamato is impressed by the samurai and flees to Kurita time to save Momonosuke, but it's too late as the castle has already been besieged and set on fire by King. However, Yamato manages to locate Oden's journal and hides it away, becoming enamored by Oden's adventures. Toki uses her powers to send her son Kosuke Momonosuke and his vassals Kinemon, Kanjuro, Daiso, and Kiku 20 years into the future, hoping they can come into contact with the future Joy Boy, who will turn the world upside down and hopefully defeat Kaido, just like Oden foresaw would happen in 20 years. The other vassals, as well as Toki's daughter Hiyori, are left behind as backup to ensure the bloodline isn't wiped. Toki is killed by the Beast Pirates as she chances a prophecy in Oden's name in front of the people of the country. Inuarashi and Nekomamushi have a falling out over Oden's execution and end up being captured by Kaido's forces, but manage to escape and return to their homeland of Seoul. However, the two would remain bitter for years to come with this grudge, eventually leading to the Makumo Dukedoms rotating Duke cycle, where each of the two would rule over a separate stretch of 12 hours. The Daimyo of Wano oppose Orochi and Kaido, but are all defeated and captured. Shimotsuki Yasui is the only one who managed to escape and goes into hiding. Inspired by Oden's exploits, Yamato decides to become a man to become Kosuke Oden. Upon applying this to his father, Kaido is frustrated and has Yamato jailed alongside the other daimyo. Over the next 10 days, however, the daimyo Shimotsuki Ushimaru, Uzuki Denpura, and Fugetsu Musubi inspire Yamato and sacrifice themselves to let Yamato run away, leading him as a runaway across Onigashima to find his father for years to come. However, due to his explosive shackles, Yamato cannot leave the island. Denjiro is unable to forgive himself for failing to save Oden, and drowns in his frustration for a long time. Later in the year, he begins to move on to help the people of Wano, and decides to take the name of Kyoshiro, becoming a new established Yakuza in the flower capital. Page 1 is born this year as the younger brother of Volti, and their pirate father dies soon after, so Kaido, who was acquainted with their father, takes the two children in as his own. 19 years ago, Uta, who has already eaten the Uta Utanomi, at age 2 is kidnapped by pirates who raid her village. The red-haired pirates plunder the ship that kidnapped Uta, and a 20-year-old Shanks finds her among their treasures. Uta joins the musician of the red-haired pirates, and Shanks adopts her as his daughter. In the following 6 years, 19 to 13 years ago, Shanks would be attacked by Marshal Ditich of the Whitebeard Pirates during the conflict, leaving a 3-line scar over his left eye. Back to 19 years ago, now captain of the Royal Army, Kira struggles to be accepted by Princess Scarlet, but after rescuing her from a kidnapping attempt, Scarlet slowly begins to fall in love with him. Over the next 3 years, as she gradually falls in love with Kiros, Scarlet decides to fake her death to the public with the help of her father in order to be able to marry a commoner like Kiros. The two of them live out a humble life on Dressrosa's Flower Hill while still keeping in touch with the royal family. Back to 19 years ago, Palomar returns to Kobayashi village with 2 orphans she found in the war-torn Oikol kingdom, Naimi and Nojiko, and decides to adopt them as her daughters. While Hancock, Sandersonia, and Marigold are kidnapped by slave traders during a trip at sea and sold as slaves to celestial dragons. Monkey D. Luffy on May the 5th is born as the son of Monkey D. Dragon. Over 18 years ago, the region of Ringo in the One Country falls to the Beast Pirates. Onimaru de Komagitsune, former daimyo Shimosuke Shimaru, stays behind to protect the region from grave robbers for the following 5 years. 17 years ago, Otohime, Queen of Fishman Island, begins a campaign to gather signatures in order to petition to move Fishman Island to the surface so that humans and sea folk can exist together. The Yukama incident takes place as the Sword King visits the Kamabaka kingdom, but returns to his kingdom having transitioned as a woman thanks to Ivankov's true powers. This results in a political scandal that results in the real family losing their status. The Prince Bellet is eventually forced to become a pirate, and develops a grudge to Ivankov as a result. The Sword Kingdom is overrun with pirates and 500 soldiers of its army are taken hostage. The government sends a 13-year-old cipherable agent, Rockolucci, who slaughters both pirates and hostages. During the event, he is shot with star cannonballs at the back, leaving a large scar. Don Quixote Rocinante, now a marine, infiltrates his brother's crew, the Don Quixote family, to spy on them as an undercover marine. The Flamingo passes the seat and named Corazon from Virgo to his brother Rocinante. The 5-year-old noble from the Goa Kingdom, Sabo, runs away from his family after being disgusted by the corruption of noble life. He befriends a young Ace and begins to gather treasure together with him to one day buy a pirate ship and escape the island. 16 years ago, the 1508 robbery takes place. Yunotomi made a desire to present the proposal to migrate to Fishman Island to surface, but ends up not participating in the robbery due to a lack of enough signatures. Fisher Tiger, who escaped from being a slave in Marijua, returns to Fishman Island. He talks with Neptune and Otohime, mentioning his desire to free the other slaves at the Holy Land. The same year, the Amber Lead crisis takes place. The poisonous effects of the Amber Lead finally begin taking effect on the people of the White Town of Flevens, resulting in a medical crisis. But the effects are not contagious, false rumors of the Amber Lead are spread, and the country's neighboring Flevens mutilated their citizens in retaliation, ultimately leading to the downfall of the country as the royal family abandons it to its fate. A young Trafalgar D. Waterlaw is caught in the Amber Lead crisis and loses his parents, his sister Lani, and all of his friends. Law manages to escape the border by hanging up of corpses, but Zeran leaves a deep scar on his mental state. Virgo leaves the Don Quixote family to go on a top-secret mission to infiltrate the Marines, but none of the other members are made aware of it due to the secrecy of the mission. Trafalgar Law then joins the Don Quixote pirates, thirsty for blood, and at the same time, Crocodile becomes a hero in the Alabasta Kingdom by hunting down pirates to bring himself a good pirate image, all the while scheming a plan to take over the country in the future. 15 years ago, the raid of Marijua takes place. Fisher Tiger scouts the Red Line and raids Marijua, freeing thousands of slaves from the clutches of the Celestial Dragons, while Hancock, Marigold, and Sandersonia are able to escape thanks to its efforts. Fisher Tiger forms the Seafood crew of the Sun Pirates with friends and former slaves. Jim leaves the Royal Army to join the crew. Hancock, Marigold, and Sandersonia are found by Yaongo Oriosa, and thanks to the help of Riley and Shakuyaku, they are now returned to their homeland of Amazon Lily. Virgo enters the Marines as part of the mission given to him by the Flamingo, and the Nox Expedition crew, a group formed by Pedro, Pecoms, Zeppo, and other Nings who went in search of Panaglis, is branded as criminals and are thus branded as the Nox Pirates. Professional boxer Foxy is discovered attempting to cheat during a match by using a weapon and is revoked his boxing license. A rebellion breaks out in Dumi in the South Pole. The conflict evolves into a civil war over the next 3 years. Over 14 years ago, Tom's workers abandoned the first sea-train prototype they built, the Rocket Man, due to its steam engine being uncontrollable. Construction of the first public sea train, the Perfect Tom, is finally completed 14 years ago, and the first railway is open to the public, giving start to a new opportunity for prosperity for Water 7. Tom is given an extension to his ruling to finish the 3 other railways. In search of his older brother Zeppo, Beppo accidentally falls off Zanisha after trying to get a better view of the sea, and eventually ends up arriving in the North Pole. Virgo requests to be transferred to G5, and the Revolutionary Army East Commander Chini is kidnapped during a mission and taken as a wife for a celestial dragon. Around 13 years ago, Vinsmoke Judge is disappointed by his son Sanji being just a regular human, and decides to imprison him in his castle under an iron mask after deeming him a failure. Publicly, he fakes his son's funeral. 13 years ago, Don Quixote Rocinante discovers Law is a D member and takes him away to find a cure, leaving the Don Quixote family for a period of time as he visits hospitals across several islands. Koa Hancock becomes the Empress of Amazon Lily and captain of the Kuja Pirates. Soon after, she's offered the position of warlord. Foxy, currently having had his boxing license revoked, ends up eating the Noro Noromomi. Princess Nefertari de Alabasta gets in a fight with local Koza and ends up becoming the vice leader of the youth gang Suna Suna clan. And one day, she's almost abducted by bandit Agotogi, but Koza protects her. Toto and other merchants of Alabasta then found the town of Yuba within an oasis in the country to serve as a center of commerce. The Marines agree to buy the Opio Bentley from the Barrels Pirates on Lubeck Island, but Rocinante steals the fruit from their base on Minion Island and feeds it to Long, saving his life from the amber leaf disease. The Flamingo entrusts the Barrels Pirates in his birdcage and kills both Captain Jeff Barrels and his own brother Rocinante, though Long manages to survive and escape. Meanwhile, Barrels' son, Jeff Drake, manages to escape the island and his abusive father in the chaos of the birdcage and is saved by the Marines. Sengoku takes him in and raises him to become a Marine. As Long escapes from Minion Island, he meets Shachi and Penguin calling a lost Beppo. Long runs them up to form the Hard Pirates. In the Wano country, Kosuke Hiyori feels guilty that her samurai Kawamatsu is going hungry for her sake and decides to run away. She's soon after taken in by her other samurai, Denjuro, at the Flower Capital. Kawamatsu feels guilty after Hiyori left and attempts to commit seppuku, but instead decides to aid Onimaru in protecting and hiding away the source of Ringo so that they may be used in 13 years' time. He fends off the land from grave robbers by posing as the warrior Yukimaru. While trying to procure food, though, Kawamatsu is captured and imprisoned in the prison mines of Udon, sentenced to eat poisonous fish by Orochi. Unaware to Orochi, though, Kawamatsu endures the sentence for the next 30 years. Onimaru remains behind at Ringo to protect the source thanks to his unusual mythical Dalfoot, assuming Kawamatsu's identity as Yukimaru. Over 6 months after Gainsborough Judge faked the death of Sanji, the German kingdom moves operations to East Blue. During an assault on the Kotse kingdom, Sanji manages to escape from his father on the ship Orbit, where he works as an assistant cook. His father lets him run away, but demands Sanji abandon the Vinsmoke name. A government ship escorting the Hitoitonomi Udalnika, now also reclassified as the Gomu Nomi, is raided by the red-haired pirates, and Lucky Roo ends up stealing the fruit in the process. For failing to protect the fruit, the Cypherpole agent in charge, Kusku, is jailed. The red-haired pirates arrive in East Blue and begin using Fuchsia Village of the Goa Kingdom as their base of operations for a while. Shanks meets a young boy by the name of Monkey D. Luffy, who grows close with Shanks and Uta. Sisters Monet, age 17, and Sugar, age 9, are rescued from a misfortunate environment by Doflamingo and join the Don Quixote family. Over 12 years ago, the Revolutionary Army searches for Nico Robin, who they call the Flame of the Revolution. 12 years ago, the 1520 robbery takes place. Sugar, age 10, is also fed the Hobby Olinomi by Doflamingo, and her aging is halted by the effects of the fruit, forever leaving her 10 years old. In the Olija incident, the red-haired pirates visit Olija, where Uta showcases her talents. However, the music sheet called Musica uses its will to take advantage of Uta's Uto-Dominant powers and awaken once more, unleashing the Devil King from ancient times back upon the world once more. Thankfully, Shanks manages to seal the Devil King once again, but sends Solovia's daughter Uta behind in Olija to allow her to lead a normal life, though Uta grows depressed and lonely after being abandoned. The news identifies Shanks as the suspect of the Olija incident, with Shanks being given a 1.004 billion value bounty. The red-haired pirates return to Fuchsia Village, but Luffy is distraught by Uta not being there anymore, and Shanks, still heartbroken, refuses to tell Luffy what happened, but the two slowly reconcile over time. Pirate Captain Mole Black Cricket arrives at Jaya and decides to settle the score with his ancestor Nolan by trying to see if the City of Gold really did exist, but his crew leaves him behind as they have no interest in Nolan's story. Back at Fuchsia Village, Luffy cuts himself under his left eye to prove his worth to the red-haired pirates, but Shanks refuses to take him to sea with him. Luffy, however, accidentally eats the Gomu Nomi the crew had seized, unaware of inheriting the power of Joey Boy. World-renowned Dr. Hogback falls in love with performer Victoria Sindri, but is turned down as she's already engaged. Shortly after, Sindri dies in a tragic accident on stage, sending Hogback into deep depression. During a scuffle with the bandit Higuma, Higuma kidnaps Luffy but is devoured by the Lord of the Coast of Dawn Island. Luffy is nearly eaten too, but Shanks saves him, losing his arm in the process. The red-haired pirates decide to stop using Fuchsia Village as their base of operations and live permanently, but Luffy vows to Shanks and he'll become the Pirate King. In turn, Shanks gives Luffy a straw hat and asks him to safeguard it until they meet again. Concerned by his recent behavior, Garp releases grandchild Luffy in the care of foster mother Perlita Dan, head of bandits at Mono Corvo. There, he first meets her other foster child, Ace, and attempts to befriend him, but he is rejected time and time again for the next 3 months. Hogback encounters Gecko Moria, offers him his style fruit to revive Sindri in exchange for helping him raise the zombie army. Hogback accepts, stealing Sindri's corpse to revive her as a zombie. Gecko Moria steals the shadow of a maid called Margarita in order to revive Sindri as a zombie, and the wandering ghost hamlet of Royal Park, operated by Geckomonia, settles in the floating triangle to prey on passing ships. Hawker opens a pet food store in Orange Town with the dog Shushu, and Hatchet visits Shaggy for the last time in the next 10 years. The Sand Pirates come across a young girl named Koala who is among the slaves that escaped from Marijuana. They agree to take her back home. After chasing Ace for 3 months, Luffy comes upon the Great Terminal. After an incident with the pirate Koshimi, Ace and his friend Sabo agree to save and befriend Luffy, and the 3 boys become sweet friends over the next months. Fisher Tiger returns Koala to her home, but is ambushed by the Marines and fatally wounded in the process. He refuses to be transfused human blood due to his hatred for humans, despite wishing he could love them, and dies as he asks his crew to help build a better future for both races. Harlong is captured by Vice Admiral Borsellino after trying to take revenge for his captain and later in prison. His testimony of this incident would later result in interspecies transfusion between humans and seafolk to be outlawed. After Fisher Tiger's death, Otohime continues campaigning for the integration of fish knowledge to the surface, but struggles to make any progress. Meanwhile, pirate captain Red Leg Zeph enters the Grand Line. On Ringland Land, a local Tonjit attempts to break the world record of high stilts, but ends up becoming stuck on them and able to get down. His people eventually leave for the next island of the archipelago as they are a nomad tribe, bringing him and his horse Sherry behind. Sabo, Ace, and Luffy declare together to achieve their dreams, with Luffy sharing the goal that lies at the end of his dream. The 3 of them mark this occasion by exchanging a bottle of sake and becoming sworn brothers. Shanks comes across Rayleigh at the summit of the archipelago and tells him of Luffy. In the Great Terminal incident, Sabo's father, Outlook III, manages to locate his son and takes him back to his household, separating the brothers. On the next day, the Goa Kingdom carries the operation of burning the Great Terminal down in order to wipe out all those living there in preparation for the upcoming Celestial Dragon visit. Captain Blue Jam dies in the process as Luffy and H manage to escape, but most of the terminal's inhabitants are saved by the Revolutionary Army. During the burning of the Great Terminal incident, the revolutionaries are contacted about the struggling rebellion in Dumi in the South Blue. Kuma heads there with his powers to aid the rebels, finally ending the civil war and liberating the country. The Celestial Dragon St. Jolmak arrives in a diplomatic expansion of the Gold Kingdom. Sab attempts to leave the island during the ceremony, but is shot by St. Jolmak. He is, however, saved at the last moment by Monkey D. Dragon, who allows him to join the Revolutionary Army after the young boy falls down with amnesia. Sab comes to befriend Hack and other members of the army as he begins training under Dragon. As an enslaved wife of the Celestial Dragon, Ginny is forced to bear a child. During this time, adult planet St. Saturn conducts drug experiments on Ginny, causing her to develop Sapphire scales. On September 1st, Ginny's child Bonnie is born, carrying the same disease, but it would invisibly manifest until several years later. Saturn experiments on the baby Bonnie by trying to feed her the Toshidoshinoni fruit as an extra, which proves to be a success. However, disgusted by her disease, Ginny's Celestial Dragon owner releases her, so Ginny attempts to return to the Soviet Kingdom. Though sunlight worsens her condition, she forces herself to make the trip back to the Soviet Kingdom so that her child can survive safely and ultimately succumbs to her disease. Kuma promises to raise Bonnie in her place. 11 years ago, Ganful attempts peace talks with the Shandia to attempt to stop the Sky War, but they prove unsuccessful. Kuina takes her 2001 victory against Zoro, but the two vow to aim to one day become the world's strongest swordsman. Unfortunately, Kuina dies after falling down the stairs. Zoro inherits the Wado Ichimonji from her and vows to make their dream come true. Red Leg Zeph and his crew, the group pirates, return from the Grand Line after their one-year trip. They attack the ship Orbit, but the ship sinks in a storm. Zeph and a young Sanji are shipwrecked on a sea stack with very little food to survive. In order not to starve, Zeph gives his share of food to Sanji, but instead eats his own leg, because he wants the young kid to live on to fulfill his dream of finding the Old Blue. After 85 days stuck on the sea stack, Sanji and Zeph are finally rescued from the verge of death. Sanji and Zeph then open the seafaring restaurant Barati together. Jinbei, now captain of the Sand Pirates, accepts an invitation to become a sea warlord, only his crew to return home to live normal lives. However, as an effect of this, Arlong is discharged from prison and leaves with some of his crewmates to build his own empire as the Arlong Pirates. At the same time, Macro, Gyado, and Tansui reform the Macro Pirates. Jinbei tries to stop Arlong but can't bring himself to do so. Arlong attempts to recruit Vander Decken the Ninth, but he turns him down due to not offering good enough money. He then gains a 20 million belly bounty. Meanwhile, Who's breaks out of prison where he was told about the legend of the sun god Nika. He becomes a pirate on the run and forms the Who's Pirates. Over his travels, he eventually comes across Jinbei as a warlord. 13 to 10 years ago, CP5 agent Spandam visits the 5 other planets for permission to search for the blueprints of Pluton. 10 years ago, Doflamingo begins to sabotage his Dressrosa operation by raiding ships with heavenly tribute. Due to his knowledge of the national treasure of marijuana, King Ing's existence, the Flamingo successfully blackmails the government into making him a warlord. Foxy discovers the legend of Davy Jones. He becomes a pirate and starts throwing piggyback fights. The people of Wano become desperate, waiting 20 years for Doki's prophecy to come true, making several of them launch a desperate raid on Onigashima. The raid ends in failure, resulting in the deaths of countless samurai. Carpenter Minatomo, designer of Kaido's castle in Onigashima, hunts the plans of said castle to his local pawn shop. Part of the Nox pirates want to stop their expedition due to low morale, so Peckham takes part of the crew with him and leaves. They end up in Big Mom's territory, where they are recruited by and join the Big Mom pirates. In the Dressrosa incident, the Flamingo uses his powers to manipulate and trick King Rikudodo III of Dressrosa in a move to take over the throne of the country by framing Dodo as a lunatic and himself as a hero. During the tragic night, Princess Scarlet is murdered, and Kiros is turned into the first of Sugar's new empire of toys. Princess Viola joins the Don Quixote family in exchange for the survival of her father. The celestial dragon Saint Miosgard shipwrecks on Fishman Island and is almost killed by the locals, but Queen Otohime spares his life. During the incident, Princess Shirahoshi awakens her power as Poseidon, which leads Vanderdecken IX to begin stalking her for the next decade in hopes of marrying her and making use of her powers. Queen Otohime decides to join Saint Miosgard in his turn to marry Joan on a diplomatic mission. There she managed to change Miosgard's view of the world and convince him to offer his support for the emigration of Fishman Island to the surface and the equality of all races. This convinces many of the people of Fishman Island to finally support Otohime's efforts. Meanwhile, the contents of the national treasure of the Ryugu Kingdom, the Tamatebako, being a set of energy steroid drugs, are stolen by Holy Jones shortly before he leaves the Neptune army. As a result, the Tamatebako is armed with a bomb by the Minister of the Right to stop future thieves from taking it. Then, Queen Otohime's assassination takes place. On a day while gathering signatures, Queen Otohime is shot at Gimcord Plaza. Otohime passes away from her wounds, while her children vow to inherit her will and make her dreams become reality. Her killer, Holy Jones, frames a human as the murderer in an attempt to sabotage Otohime's efforts. Or at Otohime's funeral, her children encourage the people of Fishman Island to restart the Queen's reign once again. Due to the constant threats and marriage proposals by Vanderdecken IX, Shirahoshi is locked up in the Shell Tower of Ryugu Palace to keep her safe, while she will remain for the next 10 years. Alan takes over the Konomi archipelago and sets a base there to begin his new empire. He forces the inhabitants to pay tribute and shoots Belmer when she is unable to pay to save her daughters. Nani is forced to join the Arnold pirates, but Alan offers to buy her village for 100 million belly. So Nani begins to gather said amount over the next years as a thief. CP5 agent Spandam searches for the blueprints of Pluton at Water 7, but his research proves fruitless. 3 days later, during Tom's acquittal for the construction of the safe train, Spandam frames Tom in order to get him arrested once more, sending Tom to Ennis Lobby to be executed. Tom's apprentice Califlan attempts to stop Spandam, but despite injuring Spandam's face, he himself ends up severely injured in the process as he is stranded at sea. As he comes across an abandoned scrap ship, he repairs his body by becoming a cyborg. After Tom's passing, Iceberg vows to help change Water 7. He secretly inherits the plans of Pluton that Tom passed on to him. 9 years ago, war engulfs the shipyard kingdom of Kuraigana Island, wiping away all civilization on it. The local memorials replicate the behavior of humans by becoming violent creatures themselves. A 14-year-old koala is brought along by Hack and enrolled in the Revolutionary Army, where she befriends Sapo. Having moved into a village, Kiros, now the Thunder Soldier, looks after Rebecca as they spend their day-to-day life together. 8 years ago, the 1516 robbery takes place. At this robbery, the threat of Monkey D. Dragon rising to power is brought up. King Wapo hates a young Princess Vivi out of spite for King Cobra, but through her professional behavior, Vivi dismisses the attack and prevents an international incident. In the fall of Burka, Burka Enel uses his powerful powers of the Goro Nomi to sing Burka and all its inhabitants out of the sky in a tragic incident, taking a few select troops with him to take over other sky islands. In the Kulu Skypiea, Enel lands at Skypiea with his army after the destruction of Burka, and the thrones can fall as its new god, enacting a rule of fear on its people. This only heightens the tensions of the Sky War between the Skypians and the Shandians. A reindeer from Drum Island who ate the heated Konomi is rejected by his pack, and the struggles a bit among humans due to being treated like an abominable monster. But Dr. Hero finds the reindeer and takes him in under the name of Tony Chopper like his own son. Enel enslaves all of the god corps in a cave to work on his secret project, the creation of the Ark Maxim. Nashira and Shoujo arrive at Jaya in search of Nolan's past as big fans of the book, and and joined cricket by forming the Sarayama Alliance to help him find the lost city of gold. Kuto Sumitama is born in the one country but loses both of her parents at a young age due to Rochi's rule, which began affecting even those from his own clan. Around 7 years ago, Bonnie ends up developing Sapper-Skell syndrome just like her mother, so Kuma holds her up inside the family church so she can remain safe from the sunlight. Kuma quits the Revolutionary Army to look after Bonnie, searching for a cure. 7 years ago, Kuma is told by a doctor that Bonnie's Sapper-Skell syndrome is an incurable terminal disease. Demon, Tamanegi, and Ninjin join Usopp in founding the Usopp Pirates in Silver Village. Iceberg founds the Galilei Company by unifying all the 7 shipbuilding companies and docks up Water 7, helping unify the island. CP9 members Rob Bellucci, Kaku, Khalifa, and Bluno infiltrate Water 7 in an undercover mission to locate the blueprints of Pluton. Nico Robin, age 25, enters the Grand Line. With his disease catching up to him, Hero realizes he has little to live left. He is tricked by Wapol to be executed by assassinating his own life instead, delivering a final speech where he believes his dream will live on. Ueha decides to continue his research and takes in Chopper. Head of the Royal Ground Guard Stalton protests against Wapol for his actions but loses against him and is imprisoned. Chopper begins researching the additional potential transformations of his own type by beginning the development of the Rumble Hole. After nearly 5 decades of drifting, Brook's ship comes across Gecko Moria's thriller park. There, his shadow is stolen and given to the corpse of Ryuma that Moria stole 16 years before from Wano. Brook sets Thriller Park into a nightmare as he finds the weakness to the zombies and releases many shadows, coming to be feared by the island zombies as the humming swordsman. He manages to escape, but is left adrift again, now without a shadow. 6 years ago, Nico Robin joins Baroque Works under Crocodile. Iceberg is nominated for mayor of Water 7 and eventually wins the election. Califlan, believed by all to be dead, returns to Water 7. Iceberg entrusts him with the blueprints of Pluton and requests him to start new life under the name Frankie. Iceberg begs him to flee the island, but Frankie refuses and instead starts forming the gang Frankie family over the next year. In the One-Man Revolution, King Bakori torments the Sorbet Kingdom by attempting once more to divide the country in half, setting up a great burning to the island's southern side, inspired by the burning of the Great Terminal 6 years prior. Kuma defeats and later kills Bakori to free the country, becoming the country's king, but he cedes power to King Pulpa. However, the next papers frame Kuma as a despot who took over the throne by force, nicknaming him the Tyrant, and forcing him to escape to sea to become a pirate. Kuma sails the seas for the next 2 years, looking for a cure for Bonnie. Toko is born in the Wano country and soon becomes an orphan, but is taken in by Yasuya, who raises her as his own daughter. 5 years ago, a 17-year-old Port Gusty set sail from Dun Island to begin his adventure. He ends up stranded on Six's Island, where he meets a man under the name Massatus, and together with him he founds the Spade Pirates after eating the Mera Meranomi. Ace would rise in infamy as he would sail across the Grand Line while building up a crew. Tired of his lifestyle as a pirate, Kudo fakes his death by letting one of his crewmates, Nuguri Yainu, be executed in his place, fooling the world about his death. Murray Morgan is promoted for being believed to have captured Captain Kudo. Kudo is taken in by a rich estate in Silver Village and becomes its butler, but devises a plan to take over its wealth in 3 years' time. Frank begins an attempt to amass 200 million belly with his Frankie family in order to acquire Adam Tree Wood to build his dream ship. The Nox pirates attempt to infiltrate Hawkeye Island to steal Big Mom's poneglyphs, but the plan fails and they are captured. Zeppo loses his lifespan and dies, but Pedro manages to bargain by offering his eye to retain just enough lifespan to live a little longer. He is freed and allowed to return to Zone. Sometime after having run away from the Charlotte family and her engagement with Prince Ludwig Albert, Charlotte Lola, now captain of the Long Pirates, arrives with her crew at Fishman Island. Upon landing at Thriller Park, Lola and the members of the Long Pirates lose their shadows to Gecko Moria, remaining stranded on the island in an attempt to recover them. In the Alabasta Drought, a great drought begins in the Alabasta Kingdom. This drought has been secretly created by the Baroque Works through the use of dense powder as a way to create unrest in the country. Around 4 years ago, useless Captain Kid unites the 4 gangs of his home kingdom in South Blue after the royalist gang ruling over the country kills his friend Victoria, deposing them from their rule. Alongside the other gang leaders, Killer, Heat, and Wire, Kid forms the Kid Pirates and sets out to sea, earning notoriety in the South. After creating chaos among the 5 families of the West by targeting the leaders of the families and rival gangs, Capone Gang Beige becomes a pirate and earns infamy in the West. 4 years ago, Trafalgar Law becomes renowned in North Blue as the captain of the Har Pirates, and Pirate Captain Cavendish achieves a lot of fame through his accomplishments. 5 to 4 years ago, Ace enters the New World as a supernova. There he eventually tracks down and meets up with Shanks and thanks him for everything he did for Luffy as a kid. 4 years ago again, the 1520 reverie takes place. A cargo of dense powder is discovered in Nanohan as well, sent under the orders of the king. This creates civil unrest, leading to the start of a rebellion in Alabasta. In reality, the accident was staged by the Rockworks in order to frame the king. Within Alabasta as well, Erumalo becomes a ghost town because of the drought, and Yuba approaches a similar fate too, sending the country down a spiral of despair. Princess Vivi and Royal Guard Captain Ibarra of Alabasta then join the Rockworks undercover in an attempt to find out more about its secret leader. In the Punk Hazard incident, Vegapunk's assistant Caesar Clown develops a weapon of mass destruction on Punk Hazard. Vegapunk has been arrested for this, but in a last-ditch effort, Caesar detonates the bomb, destroying the ecosystem of Punk Hazard and laying waste to it. Vegapunk and the other government agents evacuate, but the prisoners left behind on the island are ravaged by the effects of the weapon. Caesar is arrested but manages to escape from his prison ship. Ace is offered a warlord position but rejects it. Because of him, a warlord position is left vacant. In the Pacifista project, Kuma reunites with Dragon, who recommends him to take Bonnie to Vegapunk in order to heal her. Vegapunk, who just relocated from Punk Hazard to an island that would be known in the future as Egghead, agrees to heal Bonnie, but asks Kuma in exchange to let him clone his body, giving start to the Pacifista project. However, Saint Saturn finds out about the project and demands Kuma become a warlord and release his will as a condition for Bonnie's surgery. Kuma accepts and begins his 2-year cyber body conversion, as does Bonnie's treatment. Meanwhile, Belvetti becomes the commander of the Eastern Revolutionary Army, and East Wolf fisherman Kobe is abducted by pirate Captain Alvida and is forced to become her chore boy. The Spade Pirates shipwreck at the Wano country and help a famished Amigasa village, where Ace meets a young Otama. Ace attempts to go to Onigashima to defeat Kaido for Tama's sake, but the Emperor has left on an expedition, so Ace instead finds and befriends Yamato. The two of them vow to one day meet again, as Yamato makes a bigger card of Ace. In search of Whitebeard's head, Ace is confronted by Jinbe and the two duel it out for 5 days. The two collapse but are ambushed by Whitebeard, who takes a liking to Ace and forces him into his crew. Ace struggles to accept Whitebeard as his captain, but over time he will become loyal and decide to become his son. Ace is eventually promoted to 2nd Division Commander of the Whitebeard Pirates. 3 years ago, having spent 6 months on a head as Vegapunk cured Bonnie's disease, she and Kuma grow closer with the doctors Sentomaru and Kizaru. After the 6 months, Bonnie's treatment is completed, so she is sent back to the Sorbet Kingdom, where the Cypher Pole monitors her to ensure she and Kuma don't meet again. Bonnie completely unaware of the truth. Her father Kuma then becomes one of the 7 Royal Sea Warlords, as per the condition imposed by Saturn, and begins working under orders from government. Vanish becomes a supernova with a 280 million belly bounty and enters the New World. He enjoys a lot of fame and popularity. Aramaki, who would become an admiral in the future, begins to fast and decides to not bother to eat for the next 3 years, since his Mori Mori no Mi fruit lets him survive on photosynthesis alone. While in the East School, Kuma visits the Dwarf Kingdom to look at Luffy from afar. And meanwhile, having his brain grown too big due to his Nomi Nomi powers, Vegapunk cuts off his brain to create Punk records. This would eventually further lead to splitting into 6 clones: Shaka, Lilith, Edison, Pythagoras, Atlas, and York. Meanwhile, Caesar returns to Punk to bring Vegapunk for the incident and acting as a savior to the inmates by helping them recover, earning their loyalty. He begins using